Armfield coming on board as a playing coach, which one of the few clubs that has been going down that line of having playing coaches. You look at Doncaster East coming off a premiership and a convincing grand finalist last year, by the way. Everything was sailing beautifully for them during pre-season. Great pick-up in Rowe, and then all of a sudden he's gone. And we thought that might change a few things, but they've just gone about their business the first couple of rounds and have been tested, but have been able to get over the line each time. That's probably been one of the strengths of the club, is that they've been tested a lot, but seem to get over the line each and every time.
Oh, I definitely agree, but one of the things about their opponents today, Park Orchards, is what I'm keen to see today is we mentioned the departures out of the club and the players that aren't there that were there last year. Michael Folks is one of those that used to straighten them up a heck of a lot going through the middle up towards centre half forward. They don't have that now, so where are they going to find the goals? Who's going to stand up and be that big target?
Well, it's funny, I went up to Lilydale and watched Park Orchards about 2 weeks ago, Dan, and look, they seem to have covered Michael Folks adequately. However, it probably needs a guy like Matthew Nicholson, who we know can be absolutely brilliant in patches of play, where he can kick you 3 or 4 goals, take a couple of big marks, and then he's all of a sudden he goes out of the game. And I think they need someone like him to be in the game more often to replace a Michael Phelps.
Oh, definitely. And the other thing that I've always liked about Park, look, you've got to admire where they've come from, where they've travelled to, but one of the things I've always loved about them is they jam-pack their team full of quick runners who pressure the contest extremely well. They won a premiership because on the back of their pressure from their young runners. That's something that they're going to need to do again today. They're going to need to run really, really hard. Because when they do that, then they open up and create a lot of space up that forward line, and they've got a lot of those Nicholson types in their forward line, and so what they're not after a forward that's going to kick them 3, 4, 5 goals. They're looking at probably 4 or 5 forwards and maybe a midfielder that's all going to have to chip in with their 2 and maybe a 3, and then hopefully have a decent back half that's going to limit the Doncaster East players.
That being said, though, the one thing that you'll know about Park Orchards, they'll fight the game right out, because in that Lilydale game, 10 minutes into the last quarter, they were looking at a 6 or 7 goal defeat. They were 5 goals down, and yet they still found a way to actually hit the front with 90 seconds to go. Obviously, the game against Croydon last week was once again deja vu for them, another game of lost opportunity. I really don't think it's, when you look at their form doesn't look all that bad on paper. No.
Oh no, they've got good form. They're a club that's solid right through all the ranks. You know, they're solid generally in their reserves. They're 19s, they've got plenty of numbers, all that. So they're solid right through. And you're right. I'm just not sure whether they've got enough of the experienced players that can stand up when it really needs to count to get them over the line.
Which leads me to an interesting question. With the way that they've been rebuilding and building this club, Davo, they've had a meteoric rise, let's be honest, compared to most other clubs in the Eastern Football League over the last 5 years. Is there going to be I said this year at the start of the year, with the playing personnel they've got, I thought they might plateau a bit, because I think to take the next step up to Premier Division, they need a few more experienced players in some key position areas to take the next step. Do you think that's a valid point?
Without a doubt, and you can look no further than the club they're playing against. It's exactly what Doncaster East have done over the past few years, is that they've brought in the experienced players. So you have a look at the players that bringing in Gordon, who's straightened him up and given that experience. And then obviously you've got Brock McLean, and you've got Simon White.
Yep.
So you've got guys that have come in, and they've always had a lot of really good players on the outside, blokes that can run, great club players. When you look at Lukey McLeod and these boys, great club players, always seem to get them nearly there. And then they brought in these experienced players who were able to just have a good, calm head, get them over the line. And then, of course, they brought in an X-factor last year in Vojo Rainbow, who was able to get them over the line when it was needed. So that's what, I think that's what Park Orchards need.
And I think, Dan, too, also out of the Doncaster lineup, another regular, Jake Summers, is not playing this afternoon either.
No, definitely not,
So, I mean, look, you bring him, you've got to put him into that equation too, Davo. He brought something last year. All right, he may not have had the final series that they would have wanted, but he played a part though, Dan.
Yeah, certainly, but when you look at the grand final last year, slippery conditions out there at Baroni, not great conditions for a big man like Jake Summers, who really thrives on the ball coming in high, so he can clunk those marks, contested grabs, which he's really good at. But you look at Doncaster East's forward line, they've still got multiple options who can kick goals. We spoke about Park Orchards and who would stand up for them, but Jack Shalakis is one that provides a bit of X factor for me. He's one to watch.
You definitely have. You've got other guys too that can kick goals. Nick Batsana's also capable of kicking goals. I don't know much about Michael Stephen. Now there's another guy that if he's not in the ruck, he'll go forward. And the thing is, when he goes forward, he doesn't just kick ones or twos, he kicks you 3 and 4.
And the thing about him is, and we all know, he's the lifeblood of the club and of this team. So he goes out, and you talk about players that never give up. That grand final against Knox 2 years ago, when they played in the mud, his performance to grab that team and nearly get them over the line was absolutely inspirational on that day. And he does it week in and week out, so you know you're going to get a great contest when he's out there.
Well, gents, what we'll do now is we'll jump into the preview of the clashes in the Premier Division. And off the top, what a cracking clash this is going to be. Blackburn taking on Vermont. 2 undefeated sides heading into this one 3-0. We've seen plenty of Blackburn this year. We saw Vermont in round 1 and they were clinical. How do we see this one going?
Oh, look, I'm glad I'm here. But then part of me wishes I was there just to have a look at this game, because the only thing that's going to be a disappointment is going to be the weather. And the weather could have actually, I think the weather's going to have a marked influence on this game, because while it's at Blackburn, the Blackburn Talls have really, really impressed this year. The availability of now being able to play Bathy down forward with Hammond, bringing in Hoare into the ruck, which just released Bathy out of the ruck, and then being able to play Otten as that sweeping tall back. They're as good a big players as anyone going around, I think. And then they've got some great midfielders. Vermont, on the other hand, have been hit a little bit hard with injury, but their midfield, you sit down and count them, they bat 12 deep in the midfield. It's just ridiculous. So I think the ball on the ground a lot today, it'll be won at the contest. I still think Vermont will be too good. I think their forward options are better in these conditions, and I think they'll be able to shut down the Blackburn backs. But it's going to be tight.
I agree with you. Look, if I were Brendan Allen, and not that they would be taking Vermont lightly, but there'd be a little bit in the back of my mind thinking we've got a gilt-edged opportunity this afternoon to take a prize scalp. Because they are, let's be honest, they are a little weak in Vermont. And on EFL Insight the other night, I mentioned a dozen players that would be in their best 22 that aren't playing and that they hope to get back this week. That being said, if it had been a dry day and with nice weather conditions, it would have been a perfect foil for Blackburn. But now that it's a bit rainy and wintry, Vermont's ground speed might be the difference. I'm tipping them. I've always... the one thing you know about Vermont, and I know this, that they always seem to find something against Blackburn, no matter where they are on the ladder. They'll want to win this game as bad as beating any other side.
It's going to be a true test for both sides, no doubt. I noticed Ryan Mullet's been named to come back into the side, so that'll be handy for Vermont as well. But I've got to stick to my guns here on EFL Inside. Yep. I don't know if you listen, Davo, but I tip Blackburn as my certainty for this week. Just based on what I've seen of them in the last couple of weeks, Vermont, they got a few out, get a few back this week. Brett Eddy not playing, is that correct, Brash?
I don't think so, no.
No. So, yeah, I'm going to go Blackburn just based on what I've seen the last couple of weeks.
And as I said, if it was dry, I would agree 100%. I just think the conditions today will take away the effect of the big marking Gaffney and Hammond a little bit, because the one weakness at the moment that Vermont don't have is that they don't have a big forward at the moment.
Well, they don't have a ruckman either.
Or a ruckman. So they're going to be, relying on the fact that around the contest they've got to be really, really strong. And if we are honest, Blackburn have got an outstanding midfield, but the difference is that Vermont's is probably just a little bit better.
Yeah, that's where it stands, I reckon, Dan.
Well, moving on to the next game, Rowville taking on Balwyn. We saw Balwyn on Good Friday. I haven't seen Rowville play yet this year, but from the results, they look impressive. And, Rowville red-hot favourites with this one, you'd think.
Yeah, I heard that some of the Balwyn, they certainly got a bit of a spray during the week. Rumour has it they copped a fair bit, which is understandable. I really like Rowville. I think they've topped up with some really nice talent, especially through the midfield. I like the fact that they went for some bigger-bodied mids who have been good for them, exactly what they needed. Balwyn, they were very disappointing against Blackburn when we saw them. Blackburn were outstanding. I'm going to go for Rowville purely because it's at Rowville, another tough ground to play at, and I think they might be a little bit too good for Balwyn.
I think Rowville are going great guns early on in the season, Dan. I'll be honest, I wasn't in, they beat North Ringwood last week by 10 points. Sorry, put it this way, that doesn't give me much confidence going into a contest like today. On the back of that Good Friday contest, I am still worried a little bit about Baldwin's leg speed, especially when they come up against the younger, harder, fitter sides. They've already been exposed twice. Quamby's that sort of ground that can be a little bit hit and miss. It can be heavy and it can be dry. There won't be no beg your pardons down at Rowville this afternoon. I expect Rowville, led by Alex Frawley, to really get the job done. And I think they could win by more than 5 goals.
Yeah, I'm tipping Rowville comfortably as well. Noble Park taking on North Ringwood. As you say, Brash, North Ringwood pushed Balwyn last week. Noble Park have been pretty impressive this season.
You can't take anything away from Mick Fogarty. He's done... it's almost like that him and Harmit Singh have sort of been going the same path, rebuilding their respective football clubs with youth. And Mick's now starting to see the rewards for his what's that word I'm looking
Persistence?
for? Persistence. Yeah, exactly. They've got some good young blokes. Sketch with Kyle Martin and Sketcher leading the way as the two leaders of the football club. They've still got a bit of experience down there, but they find something. And one of the things I like about Noble Park this year is they know how to run games out. They've been very impressive in their last quarters. So fitness isn't an issue. I think down at the Bull Ring, it's going to be a hard ask for the North Ringwood today. I think Noble Park are at the top of their form early in the season and they'll want to bank another win here.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Noble Park. I was impressed with them against Montrose. I didn't think they'd go as well against Norwood last week. I thought they might have too many big guns up there, but Noble certainly proved me wrong in that situation. I thought they were a year away from being a really good, solid side. They've got a lot of good young kids that are talls that might have been found out this year, but have been proved wrong so far. They're travelling nicely. North Ringwood would have been really buoyed by last week's performance. We do have to remember that Balwyn went into the game with Pendlebury out and also...
the head outs.
The boy they pulled from the Swans, Richards.
Yep.
So they had both of them out, and Apeness was in for North Ringwood, who gives them a target. He's out today, which does hurt them. So I'm going for Noble at Noble.
Bulls for me as well. South Croydon takes on Norwood, and wow, season-defining game, or was that last week for South Croydon? Because they have started the season 0-3, Davo, and today they come up against a Norwood side that they'd really fancy themselves, the Dogs, in this one. Big occasion for Norwood though. Lee Williams playing game number 150, and Rhett Jordan game 100.
Yeah, look, I surely couldn't pick against South Croydon publicly, could I? I think they would leave the ground and just turn up and lynch me, I'm sure. But I did speak to one of their players during the week, had a bit of a chat to him. He said they haven't been as bad as what it looks like on the scoreboard.
No.
And they're fairly confident about their season and where they're travelling. And I think they've probably shown a little bit more, even in defeat, than what Norwood have. Norwood have been all over the place. And I know they're playing for some big milestones, but to be honest, means nothing when you run out there on the ground.
No.
I think South Croydon, because they have to. They have to get their season off on a roll now. So today's the day to do it.
Yeah, look, I just think that a must-win game for the Doggies. I think they might need to put Hooper in the forward line. He came across from Doncaster. I still think they're lacking a forward. And with Tucker out for the season with a knee, they need Maxi King needs help.
Yep, yeah, definitely.
Well, I'm going to go for South Croydon in this one to post their first victory of the season and get their year somewhat back on track. But turning our attention now to Park Orchards, and good enough to join us before the start of the game is Dennis Armfield, the playing coach of the Sharks. Dennis, welcome.
Hey guys, how are we?
We're very well, Dennis, and we appreciate you joining us before you have to take to the swimming pool out there
it's
out on the ground.
It's a lot warmer in here, mate. I don't mind it.
It's a great opportunity for you guys today to come out to Zerby's Reserve and test yourselves against one of the competition benchmarks.
Yeah, definitely. Look, they're playing some really good footy in the first 3 weeks. Unfortunately, they didn't get the win in the first game, but they were pretty dominant in that as well. So look, it's a real privilege to test ourselves against one of the best.
What have you learnt in your time in the Eastern Football League so far? You played in the Essendon District League before switching across. What have you learnt in terms of standards and whatnot?
Yeah, look, it's a really high quality standard out here in the EFL. I came out here with, you sort of sit there and say you're playing Division 1, you sort of think, but it's been really, really good quality of footy, some really good players running around, and looking forward to the rest of the year.
Dennis, I went and watched you up at Lilydale a couple of weeks ago. It was one of those games where it was a really tight first half, and Lilydale got off the chain a little bit. And 10 minutes into the last quarter, you were staring down the barrel of a big defeat.
Yep.
But your guys all of a sudden seemed to get the second win, and they seemed to find something, and that was led by Matthew Nicholson.
Yep.
You'd love to see Matthew Nicholson turn it on like that for every 3 or 4 minutes a quarter every game, wouldn't you?
Yeah, look, Nico's one that, he's a skillful player, and if he can put four quarters together, we're licking our lips, that's for sure. But yeah, look, he led the way. But our midfielders really dominated there in the latter half of that game too, to get us back in and get the ball going forward. So look, it's going to be a real heavy contest today, and I'm looking forward to it.
I think the other thing too that I noticed from that game, two guys that aren't playing today that were very influential in that was Michael Philp and Tom Fair, the captain as well. Unfortunately, they're not out there today. Would love to have them out on a day like today.
Oh, look, a guy the size of Philpy, you'd always love to have on a day like today, and then your skipper in Tommy Fair, who's really led the way these first 3 weeks for us. You'd love to have him out there, but unfortunately I think his health is more of a priority with the concussion, mate. So That's priority number one. And look, he's probably could have played, but I think we've got to play the safe, especially with the concussion rule nowadays.
Dennis, we were saying previously that one of the things that we've been most admired Park Orchards over the last couple of years, their speed, their youth, and probably when you put them together you think of outside, but their attack on the contest is as good as anybody in the competition. How have you seen that develop over the last couple of weeks? Because it's the one thing that they've got to continue to develop. And can you tell us a little bit about young Sam Heron, who I think is he's not new to the club, but he's come into the team over the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, look, mate, when I came out here, we are a very quick and agile team, and I was sort of worried about our bash and crash when I first saw the list, and but then when we got into first games and that, you sort of see that we're not afraid to go in and get that hard ball, and it's a really good credit to some of our boys. And you speak of Sammy Heron, he's probably one that's sort of taking that next step up from the 19s and starting to cement himself in the team. He's still got his things that he's got to work on as well, but we've got the likes of Witter who's going to go in there. We've got Ryan Turner playing his first game this year, so we've got some good boys in there that can really crack in and do the hard work for the rest of us.
Now, is there any chance that we might see the odd handball misdirected today from from Brock and Whitey there, where you just get into their ears and just have that natural where they give the hands out to you? Any chance of that?
Mate, I'd love to be on the end of one of them. But yeah, look, it's going to be fun. It's good fun running out here. It's good to see the boys in the competition and giving back to community football. And it's two great teams, and looking forward to hopefully getting one up on them. That's for sure.
Dennis, you've played at the highest level that we know, and you're coming back now to coach. How have you enjoyed the transition personally, and what are your hopes coaching wise in the future?
Yeah, look, it was all about diving in the deep end and learning as much as possible, as fast as possible, and I've really enjoyed it. And Park Orchards were great, happy enough to give me the run as a head coach. And yeah, look, it's been some tough times, some good times, and when you lose by a kick on the siren and then you lose by 3 points last week, it's I'm starting to go grey pretty quick, which is pretty scary. But look, coaching aspirations, mate, I just want to learn as much as possible and see where it takes me. I don't have any set goals. I'm enjoying where I'm at the moment, and that's I'm looking forward to running out here in about half an hour's time.
Well, Dennis, we thank you for joining us on EFL Game Day, especially given the fact you're playing today. So we do appreciate that, and all the very best for this afternoon.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy it in here.
Dennis Armfield, the coach of the Park Orchards Football Club, and always great to chat to players that have come from that AFL level back down and hear the insights of what they bring to local footy.
But this is part of the reason why the EFL is one of the strongest clubs in the competition, because these blokes are choosing to come back down. Choosing to come back down to come and be part of this organisation.
And one of the things they always say is that they come back and they go, "Wow, the competition is very, very strong," and that's what you hope to hear, and it's good to hear.
Well, joining us now is Dennis's adversary, Steve Buckel, the coach of the Doncaster East Football Club. He's been good enough to join us here on EFL Game Day. G'day, Steve.
Afternoon, boys. How are we going? Good to see you.
We're very well, Steve. And it's an interesting game out here today. The weather conditions aren't going to be too favourable. So, are you going to expect a scrap today?
Well, ideally not. But look at if you watch the game before us, it's obviously turning out that way a bit. But I think that has to do with a little bit more of the intensity and the heat that our boys are bringing in the Twos game, and hopefully we can bring a similar brand of footy and open it up a bit.
One man that's not out there today won't be playing this afternoon is Jake Summers. He straightens you guys up a bit. We were chatting before that he loves to clunk those marks and loves a goal too. I suppose when you look at the Doncaster East forward line, you've got plenty of options to cover that though.
Yeah, look, he is a big loss and he is hard to cover, but we've been able to do that over the last couple of weeks. I think you've probably seen we've had sort of 38, 39 scoring shots over the last couple of weeks. So we're not struggling to get opportunities at the moment, and I think it presents a really good challenge for opposition teams because it makes us a little bit more unpredictable not having him there. When he is there, he's roaming that sort of centre half forward area and hitting up the ground, and they know where the ball's going. But without him there, it's like I said, it makes us more unpredictable.
Bucksy, consistent-wise, the opening 3 rounds of the season is probably the best in the 3 years that I've been doing the stats for the Eastern Football League. You've won 10 and a half quarters out of 12. You're about 30 points ahead on game point averaging over 20 goals a game. Your first quarters, you've really looks like have really improved on this year, and the team is starting a lot better.
Yeah, look, it's just been a little bit of a mentality shift over the pre-season. Look, it's something we've known we've been historically really poor at, and we've tried to address it every year, but it's something seems to have, I suppose the penny seems to have dropped a little bit in this pre-season and before games. And look, we were a little bit slow out of the blocks last week, and Moorabah probably had the best of the first sort of 5 to 7 minutes, but once we steadied, they didn't put any scoreboard pressure on us, which was fortunate for us. And once we steadied, we were able to get back on top. But yeah, look, hopefully that can continue as well today, that sort of scoring frenzy at the moment. But look, Park Orchards is going to bring a different look for us with lots of speed and pressure around the footy too.
Well, last year they were 7 goals up 10 minutes into the second quarter, and you had to claw. You needed every bit of the last 3.5 quarters to get back to win the game.
Yeah.
But I also note too that Moorabah game, traditionally your club has always struggled when they've gone up to Heights Reserve. It must have been very satisfying to walk away last weekend with a big victory from there.
Yeah, it was, Brash. It was look, it was a big focus for us going in that it hasn't been a happy hunting ground for us historically. So we had a point to prove a little bit, and look, I think to be fair, Millbrook were a little bit undermanned as well, and we probably got them at a good time. So look, I suppose it's a bit of a mix of both, but look, I'm hoping that our whole mentality has shifted, and we've got a bit of a point to prove this year. I think there's not a couple of blokes. I know I've got to be in my bonnet about it, but I know there's a lot of boys in the team who've got a real bee in their bonnet about where we sit at the moment and not getting our right whack last year. So look,
I can understand that.
Yeah. So we go out every week with a real point to prove and something to show the EFL and prove to the EFL. Look, there's a long way to go, but we come in every week with something to prove.
I think one of the things that I've noticed and had a look over the results for quite a while now is your ability to win close games. Do you think it's due to the fact that when you have a look through your list now, you've got probably 70% of your list has played 30 to 40 games together, and you have built a really good, I suppose, group mentality, and with the experience that you've got, those smart heads are able to really calm things down when things need to be calm, and also ignite things when that needs to be ignited.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think the consistency through the list has been one of our real strengths. We've been pretty lucky that it's, I suppose, whether or not it's luck or whether or not we just, the club itself creates a really good environment that people want to stay once they come. We don't have a really high list turnover. We maybe bring one or two guys in each year, and so spots are always up for grabs, and we're always blooding kids as well. But if they don't get a game here, they don't leave. Most of the guys generally stay, so we do get that consistency through the list and that brand of footy that everybody does know and understands. And I think that is really important, because it can take a while for a team to gel if you're bringing in 5 or 6 different players every single year. We've been pretty steady over the last couple of years, especially, and we're getting better at when to play fast and when to play slow footy.
Yep.
And it definitely helps having guys like Whitey, Brock, Tommy Gordon as well, who's a really good voice and an experienced player as well, and you bring somebody like Chris Phelan into the team too. He's played a really high level of footy, who's really composed too, and he hasn't taken long to settle in either.
Well, Steve, we thank you for joining us on EFL Game Day, and all the very best for this afternoon.
Cheers, thanks boys, have a good call.
Steve Buckel, the coach of the Doncaster East Football Club, good enough to join us before the bounce at 2:10 p.m. Gents, one more thing before we head to our first break here on pre-game is... as we launch straight back into our tips for Premier Division, is Montrose taking on Doncaster. Now, Montrose, gents, they've impressed in the last few weeks. They haven't gotten the result, but I think we haven't given them enough credit in terms of how competitive they've been.
I agree, and this is a danger game for Doncaster. Doncaster have struggled to get any fluency in the way that they've played the first 3 rounds, and Montrose, we saw them up at Montrose against Noble. We're really impressed with them. They got run over towards the end. Look, I expect this to be a tightish game. I'm going to tip Doncaster because their class should get them over the line. But this is going to be one they're going to have to play really well, especially up at Montrose.
They've got a few injury concerns, Doncaster, from what I'm hearing. So the side's a little bit out of balance at the moment, gentlemen. For me, I think Toby sort of primed in one of his talks about there's two sides really playing for finals. It's both South Croydon and Doncaster, because with sides to make the finals, you've got to be 12 and 6, right? Now both sides are sitting at 0 and 4. For Doncaster, for me, this is the line in the sand game, because I can't see either one. I can't see both of them playing finals, but one of them can. So even if South Croydon get up today, that gives them that one game. I think Doncaster, like Davo, will get up in a very tight contest. They just need to win. It's a bit like South Croydon.
Season-defining game.
They just need to win. No matter, in their eyes, it wouldn't matter whether it was by a point, just as long as they get 4 points.
I agree. Doncaster for me as well. As that wraps up Premier Division, you're listening to EFL Game Day on 1377 SEN Plus. More after this.
Breakfast with
And you're clear.
Thanks, Nigel. SEN. Parents and VCE students, don't miss the VCE.
We've got a 4-minute break here.
Thanks, mate. Tomorrow at Caulfield Race.
The thing too, we've got a hard out this hour. Okay.
That's to allow Eastern to come in on time.
Yep.
So the hard out is 155.50.
Board, including the footy.
5.50. The music will play up to it. There'll be music playing up to 155.50.
Okay.
And then the ad break will be on, and then bang on 2, they'll join you. So when you come back on the other side, on the flip side,
Yep.
they'll be there with you. So you'll be able to welcome them if you want to.
Okay, thanks, mate.
They just
now,
look gorgeous.
Before you go away,
latest memory.
I'm not going anywhere.
Okay. What's the studio clock
Select
saying
from
now?
a wide range of coffins, caskets and floral arrangements.
All right, so 131 and 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50.
Okay, I'm a second behind you.
Celebrating life.
I got 130, 155,
Only
6,
19
7,
shots from
8,
53 inside
9,
50.
No,
132.
You're bang on.
Okay, bonus.
Seniors coach going to do? Jono surprised himself and everyone else. The spray he gave the boys at halftime worked. Well, he did finish it by saying he'd shout him a post-game feed and frothies at Eastland if they won.
I think you've got another break before the hard out, haven't you? One more break this half hour coming up.
Eastland.
Plummet during tyre powers.
Are you there?
Of Kumho passenger car and SUV tyres. That's right, buy 3 and get 1 free on selected Kumho tyres at Tyre Power. Conditions apply. See website for details. Tyre Power's big free sale is now on. Visit tyrepower.com.au or call 13 21 91 for your local owner operator.
Do something about youth homelessness. Sleep at the G on Thursday, May 16th. This year you can bring your kids too. For T's and C's and to register, visit sleepattheg.com.au. Hosted by Melbourne City Mission and proudly supported by Melbourne Cricket Club and Melbourne Football Club.
At Melbourne Airport, you can get 1 hour terminal parking for just $12. It makes it easy to greet your loved ones when they come home or give them a proper send-off. You can also park for up to 3 hours for just $24 and 1 day for $51. That's cheaper than a taxi to and from the city. For warmer welcomes, proper goodbyes and everything in between, Melbourne Airport Parking is here to get you there. Visit melbourneairport.com.au.
Decided to go with the mahogany with gold handles on the side and white roses. I think that should look really elegant.
I like how you can see it all.
Tobin Brothers Funerals' latest Memory Maker app gives you more choice than ever before. With the app's newest Build Your Own feature, you can now personalise.
Okay, coming up to 1 minute.
Thanks, Nigel.
And flowers.
1 minute now.
Just checking you've got another ad break to go too. Just confirming you do.
Yeah, I know, probably about 10 to, maybe a little bit sooner.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Sounds good.
Thanks, mate. What time's that hard out?
Team nightly at 6.
So 55.50 is when we have to be out by. So the music will start playing at 54.50. You'll hear the music underneath you then.
Okay, thanks, mate.
Eastern Football League.
Right.
Tim, there's nothing better than listening to SEN Crystal Clear on the SEN app.
Except when you get a little bit of this.
Due to broadcasting restrictions, SEN is unable to live stream today's...
You've got a bit of water on your cameras here at the moment.
Tell me about it.
Every SEN match.
All right, 10 seconds.
All on the new SEN app.
Are you telling me no more block out?
Every SEN game, Whispers.
SEN Footy, streaming live and exclusively on the all-new SEN app.
SEN Footy, streaming live and exclusively on the all-new SEN app.
Okay, here we go.
Thanks, Nigel.
It's on now.
Yes, welcome back to Zerby's Reserve for the big Division 1 clash between Doncaster East and Park Orchards. EFL pre-game here with you, Daniel Sensick, joined by Brett Davidson and Wayne Brasher as we launch into Division 1 action now. Knox taking on East Ringwood, gents. So how do you see this one playing out?
I think East Ringwood have been really impressive so far. They've played some good football, and Knox have been a little bit up and downish. I'm going to go for East Ringwood in this. I know it's at Knox, but I like the way they've started off. They've been really solid, so I'm going to go for them to get over the line and have another win.
The only problem is with East Ringwood, they don't seem to score enough goals, 10 goals. Their away form, they're only scoring around 49 points on their away form. However, when they get the game on their terms, East Ringwood, they're really hard to knock over. Knox very much hit and miss. It's very hard to get a form line through them at any given time. I agree with you, Davo. I think East Ringwood are going well enough, right, and they deserve another win.
I agree. East Ringwood up for this one as well. They're my tip. Moving on, this is a huge clash, this one. Lilydale taking on Wanturna South. Both sides come into this one undefeated. They play close games every time they seem to meet, these two. And, they're meeting today, both undefeated. And the winner takes outright first position.
Yeah, well, I think Lilydale have probably ordered about another 40 defibs to the ground, seeing that they've had 2 games that have been won in basically the last 90 seconds of the game. But that proves that they've been able to win those really close games too, which is a really important part. Wanturna South, you're always a danger when you've got a calibre of a Luke Williams who's starting to get into a bit of form and play the football he can. And this is going to be a toss of the coin, but the one thing, Lilydale have got the most unorthodox ground. It's a little bit like Geelong's GmbH with the long, thin ground, hard to play, they defend it pretty well. I'm going to go for Lilydale, but only just against Wanty South.
Well, one thing about Lilydale that strikes me is they just absolutely carve teams up with their speed, and it's very hard to match. So if they can get the game on their terms, they're definitely in the box seat for this one. So Falcons for me. Croydon versus Bayswater.
I'll go Lilydale as well.
Thanks for that, Brash. Croydon versus Bayswater. Croydon coming in off some red-hot form, as we mentioned before. They put Park Orchard to the sword by 3 points last week. Bayswater, though, has formed been pretty good as well.
Hard to pick. This is a hard one. I can't read Croydon because, as you said, they've got over Park Orchards last week, and the week before they played Doncaster East and got absolutely demolished. So really hard to work out where they're at, and a little bit like that with Bayswater. I just don't know if Bayswater have got the goal-kicking potential at this stage. I'm not sure. I'm going to go Croydon, but it is a real toss of the coin for me, this one.
They're very, very... A lot of these games in Div 1 this week are really borderline 50-50 games. There's hardly a game that really stands out as a lock in so many words. I still think Bayswater's form has been a little bit more encouraging than Croydon. I'm still, I just can't. When Croydon got on that big run last year towards the end of the season, what I wanted to see from them is I wanted them to start off the season like a 2-1 or a 3-0 to justify that all that hard work they did last year, right, was not in vain. That being said, Bayswater, they've had to work hard and they've in their games, and I think that sets them up beautifully for a game like today. It'll get down and dirty, which is how the way Bayswater like it, and I'm going to tip them.
Bayswater for me as well. As we move on to Murrelbark versus Upper Ferntree Gully. This one shapes as probably the least even of all the clashes in Division 1 for mine, and I think the Kings will get this one done comfortably.
Yeah, I think they're probably going to be a little bit too good, but their season hasn't started well. I mean, they're looking down the barrel at the moment. I don't know what's going on there. Murrelbark have just lost an enormous amount of talent out of the group. I think Polkinghorn's back in this week, which adds class and to their group. It is played at Murrelbark, which certainly helps, but if Upper Gully are going to do anything this year, they have to win today. We talk about other teams having to win. Today is the day they have to win, and I think they will.
Yeah, look, it's hard to actually make a case for Murrelbark so far on the form exposed this season. Then again, Upper Ferntree Gully, like you said, they haven't had the start of the season. They brought in Ryan Phillips from Vermont as a key forward. Probably got to get the ball down to him so he can kick the goals. I actually reckon they're missing out. I reckon they've lost a few from the midfield. I just don't reckon they're getting enough run out of there.
Well, if you have a look at it, they lost Giorgio, and he was one of those X-Factor players, and they've lost a number of those handy types that were in the mids that gave them a bit of midfield depth that all went to Churnside Park. So, that's the problem.
For a want of a better word and having a tip, I'm going to tip Upper Ferntree Gully, Dan.
Upper Ferntree Gully for me, as well as we turn our attention to Division 2 and Baronia hosting Mulgrave. And weren't the Hawks picked apart by Templestowe last week? And to be a fly on the wall in that game review with the coaches.
Well, it's not often I wouldn't, from speaking to Gav Casey last week, it's not often that Matty Clark gets out-coached. Yep. And Gav thought that Craig DeCourcy's plan came off exceptionally well on the day. I'm prepared to give, they're the reigning premiers, Baronia, they're entitled to a bad game. Good to see Mulgrave get a win last week. They really needed it to get their season going. But put this way, hell have no fury on a team scorned, and Baronia will be back out with a vengeance this afternoon.
I agree, and I think it'll be a close one though. Mulgrave's form's been, they knocked over Scoresby last week by 35 points, pretty comfortable after conceding quite a few goals in the last term as well, so they opened up a large lead against the Magpies, but I think Baronia will get this one done. As we move on, Ringwood taking on Templestowe, and they're a shadow of the former Sells, Ringwood, aren't they?
Actually, I think we're at the wrong round, Dan.
I think we are too.
Let's start off with Mulgrave and Mitcham.
Mulgrave taking on Mitcham. Apologies for that.
That's right. I'm going to go for Mitcham. They've been in good form. They're apparently their midfield's on fire at the moment. They've got a couple of nice options up forward. Mulgrave been all over the place. A bit hard to judge them at this stage, but their experienced players are probably not giving them what they need at the moment. Hard at Mulgrave, but I'm going for Mitcham.
Yeah, look, Mitcham, and I'm not going to change my tip for Baronia and Ringwood either, Dan. I think Baronia will get back on the winning list this afternoon.
Mitcham and Baronia for me as well. Davo?
I'm going for Baronia because I think that was the most un-Baronia-like performance I've seen last week, and they were, don't know about our coach, but their players played their roles to absolute perfection, Templestowe. They were very, very impressive last week.
It was a sensational clinical performance by them, and that last quarter by Templestowe, their link-up play was fantastic, and they really made Baronia pay on the rebound, particularly when they transitioned the ball forward defensively too. They had Crummers front and centre, so Baronia would really want to correct that up against Ringwood today. But I think Baronia, I agree. Red-hot favourites against Ringwood should get it done. As we move on to Heathmont taking on Scoresby. Close one, I think this one will be, and real toss of the coin.
Yeah, well, I think who would... Oh, man, I must admit I did think about it, but Scoresby have really struggled. They just lost too many forward class players that have been able to kick. You lose over 100 goals, you've got to replace it, and unfortunately they haven't been able to do it. They've now lost Hicks out of the ruck this week, so they've had to go with... They'll probably go with young Paravicini and maybe Roberts out of the ruck. So that's going to be really tough. And Heathmont have been okay. They were 5 goals up at quarter time last week against Mitcham, and just went to sleep and got overrun a little bit towards the end. But they're going okay. And at Heathmont, another tough ground. I think they've got a number of good players who've come back into their list today. So I'm tipping Heathmont.
The only thing that keeps Scoresby in the game is the fact that they've got a very good back line and a half decent midfield. But unfortunately, your back line and your midfield are kicking the ball into a vacant forward line with no forwards, and it's not going to win you a game of football. I think Kyle Emley's had a good start to his coaching career at Heathmont, and he's very much aided by Andrew Smith, an ex-Vermont 7-time premiership player. So he's got some good support there. Heathmont, like you said, their form has been pretty encouraging in the opening 3 rounds, and I think they get their chance to get on another win this afternoon, Dan.
Jets for me as well. The Basin at take on Templestowe. We've chatted about Templestowe and how clinical they were last week. The Basin, though, are always a dangerous prospect up there at Batteram Reserve.
They are, and they've been playing solid football without really... they drew with Ringwood, and they lost to Baronia, and I think they beat Heathmont. So they've had some tough games to start off with and been pretty good. Templestowe get back the captain this week. Pearce has come back into their side, which adds some more midfield depth for them. so impressed with the way they went about it last week. I think if they keep playing like that, and they've had a tough start. You look at them; they've had to play they've played Ringwood, Scoresby, and Baronia in their first 3 rounds. Templestowe. That's 3 of the top 3 from last year. So they've been pretty impressive. I reckon they'll win today.
Yeah, I'm not going to add. I'll go with. I think Templestowe's form for a match like this is good.
Yeah, it warrants a tip from me as well. Division 3 action, and of course it is Donvale taking on Ferntree Gully. Donvale, one of the form sides of Division 3 this season. Those Twin Towers up forward have reunited, and gee, aren't they kicking a few goals?
They are, and they're tough to get past too. There's some big boys, but it's not just that. One of the key players that got back is Zach Haig. You know, really good ruckman, but he's not playing as a ruckman because they've recruited a ruckman, so they've got Zach Haig playing as a ruck rover, which is
luxury.
It's an absolute luxury. They've been pretty good, Donvale. They've certainly surprised me. And on the other side, Ferntree Gully have disappointed me a little bit. They've gone and recruited massively. I don't think they've really gelled yet. This is at Donvale, another hard ground to play at. I'm going Donvale at Donvale.
Yeah, look, I just think that for as well as what Ferntree Gully's recruited, they haven't recruited enough to kick enough goals to win games of football. And when you've got Purcell and Nick Murphy in that side, and also another guy we haven't mentioned, but who's a valuable player when he's not injured, is Carl Toast.
Oh, definitely, yeah, great captain.
He's back in the side now. It just adds another string to that midfield bow at Donvale. I think all the pointers point to a big Donvale victory this afternoon.
Well, Ferntree Gully coming off 2 wins in a row. They knocked over the Whitehorse Pioneers and the Glen Waverley Hawks just last week, but I think Donvale will be too good in this one. South Belgrave hosting the Whitehorse Pioneers. Intriguing clash this one. Whitehorse have lost a few players, as we've made light of, and South Belgrave couldn't be going any better than what they are at the moment.
They're the team to beat South Belgrave at this stage. They're a standout team in the competition. They bat very, very deep. Whitehorse very disappointing last week against Warrandyte. They had started the season off well, let themselves down last week. They'll come back and fight back again today, but I think South Belgrave is South Belgrave.
I think Whitehorse and the Pioneers are now starting to will understand by 6 o'clock tonight why they've still got a little way to go to be successful in Division 3, because South Belgrave are in irresistible form at the moment, and I'm expecting a sizeable victory for them this afternoon.
Saints all-rounders. We move on to, in my opinion, the match of the round in Division 3. Waverley Blues taking on Warrandyte, and this one really could go either way, but the Waverley Blues, for me, simply need to win today.
Yeah, they do. They have to win today. Warrandyte were impressive last week. Waverley are always a difficult side to beat, particularly as it's an unusual ground. It's got an unusual surface. It's a little bit thicker the grass, and when it's wet, it's tougher to play. And they haven't been terrible, Waverley Blues. They just haven't been able to get over the line. And they have to win, and I'm going to tip them in a little bit of an upset to win at home.
Unfortunately for Dan, Warrandyte's away form over so many years doesn't warrant enough confidence for me yet to actually pick them to win this contest. But they're building a nice side up, and I like the fact that they've got. I reckon they've got a player there that I reckon he could turn out to be a star for them. That's Lewis Oliver.
Yep.
Now they've brought the Grimes brothers in, right? And I reckon that takes a lot of pressure off him, because he can go on the ball because he's quite dangerous. He can break lines, and he's got a great turn of speed. Like I said, their away form Warrandyte doesn't warrant me to give them a pick just yet. So for Bryce McGain, they need a win. He would have been. I think he would have thought that they'd be a little bit more advanced than where they are at this stage of the season, Dan.
I agree, but I think they'll get up today as Glen Waverley Hawks host Chirnside Park. Chirnside Park obviously struggling at the moment. Glen Waverley Hawks have been fairly hot and cold this season, and I think they should post a victory today, though.
Yeah, up there, I think they'll win. Chirnside, look.
What do you say about them? I just can't. You know, this should be a game, Davo, that Churnside, right, should be winning this game if they had half-decent form. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Glen Waverley Hawks, but it was always going to be a struggle for them coming up, right, because they needed to recruit some players. Churnside gone and recruit some players, but their form's absolutely woeful.
Yeah, it's been. I think there's a real confidence issue there. I think they came off such a disappointing year last year.
Yeah, didn't win a game.
They went out. They've gone and recruited some, not superstars, but blokes that can play some half-decent footy. They probably haven't gelled yet. I'm not sure what's going on, but then they've come out and been beaten convincingly early. I'd say the confidence has dropped. New coach. First time he's ever coached. I reckon it would be really tough for him to know what to do.
Well, they've got a new coach too, Glen Waverley Hawks, in Con Borg.
Yeah, they have. And Glen Waverley are another side. Losing Ferguson is a big loss for them moving on at the end of the year. So they don't have the targets that they've had. That's why they've probably not been able to score the goals. I think they'll win today. I think they'll win because they're playing on their home ground.
Yep.
But... Churnside, you just want to see them come out and be really competitive.
Yeah, you certainly do.
I'm only tipping Glen Waverley because it's at home, because I don't think that Churnside will have played on a ground like that.
Yeah. Hawks all round as we move on to Division 4 action, and it is Forest Hill taking on Fair Park, and this is an intriguing clash. Fair Park have been travelling on very nicely. I saw them play last Saturday night and they were incredibly impressive, just the way they moved the footy and transitioned the ball, and their goal kicking power seems to have improved tenfold this year too, so it's exciting times for Fair Park. Forest Hill, though, as we've mentioned, of a few sides comparable to last year, they're a shadow of their former selves.
They are. But if you have a look at it, Forest Hill have played Nuttawading and Croydon the last 2 rounds. So they've had big wins, but the week before that they played East Build and got absolutely hammered. So while they're coming in on form, they haven't had the competition that they'll get today. And I'm a big rat for Fair Park. They've recruited... You talk about recruiting, you can get 12 players into your club, 11 players or whatever, but then when they're from one club, it's not like they have to get used to each other. They already are. So I'm tipping them to win. It is hard at Forest Hill, though, but I'm tipping them to beat Forest Hill.
Change of the guard for mine. Fair Park are on the up. I think Forest Hill at best are a fifth place side in this competition this year. Fair Park on the improve. They get the victory for me.
Yeah, can't go past Fair Park and their form at the moment. Just quickly, gents, as we zip through the next 3 matches. Kilsyth taking on Croydon North M-Lock. To say either side needs a win's an understatement.
Draw.
Yep. Flip of the coin.
Flip of the coin. I'd really care. Both sides have been...
M-Lock.
Yeah, I'm going to go Kilsyth at home.
Kilsyth for me as well. Nuttawading taking on Sylvan, gents.
Sylvan.
Yeah, Sylvan easily. I think they've been pretty good, Sylvan.
They've had a delayed start.
They've also had some horrendous goal kicking this year, haven't they? 822 last week, I think it was. They'll be looking to correct that up.
Well, they're averaging 9.19 at the moment, Sylvan.
It certainly doesn't make for great reading, but the more intriguing clash this week in Division 4, Surrey Park taking on East Burwood. Big occasion today for Surrey Park. I think in the reserves is Jimmy Wright playing game 300. You'd know a fair bit about him, wouldn't you, Davo?
Yeah, look, heart and soul of the place. Will absolutely do anything that you ask him. He will be the first to admit that he's not blessed with a lot of skill, but one thing is, and I played him a number of times in the seniors, you give him a job and he just does it as well as anybody. So good luck for his 300th. Hope he plays really well. But as far as the game goes, Surrey Park, this is they have to stand up and deliver today. They haven't delivered at all this year. I know they had a big win against Kilsyth, but Kilsyth are not travelling that well. They need to do something.
50 seconds.
East Burwood will win today, I think.
And East Burwood for mine, Dan.
Yeah, East Burwood for me as well. And haven't they absolutely hit the ground running this year, East Burwood? They're probably where they are now that when you said they'd be last year, Brash. So are we going the same tact this year with the no excuses?
30 seconds.
No, I'm not going to. I won't go it this year.
Well, that wraps things up on EFL Game Day pre-match. When we come back, all the action in Division 1 between Doncaster East and Park Orchards right here on 1377 SEN+.
Breakfast with Gary and Tim. Weekdays from 6 on SEN.
Head to Myer and save 25% when you buy.
Okay, guys, you missed a break there.
Elite Triumph, Jockey and more. Myer, my store.
Waitley, Monday from 9 on SEN.
Hello, I'm Peter Hitchener. 9 News invites you to join our team nightly at 6 for Melbourne's #1 news. Tony Jones with the latest sport, including the footy, plus Lavinia Nixon's weather forecast. 9 News, proud supporter of the Eastern Football League.
Decided to go with the mahogany with gold handles on the side and white roses. I think that should look really elegant.
I like how you can see it all.
Tobin Brothers Funerals' latest Memory Maker app gives you more choice than ever before. With the app's newest Build Your Own feature, you can now personalise your own coffin or casket. Choose the design, the colour, the handles, the drapery and flowers to match. Download Tobin Brothers Funerals' Memory Maker app from the App Store or visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating life.
The senior coach has taken the team to Eastland for a post-game feed. If only they had this kind of teamwork on the field. They've just ordered starters to share, plus frothies for the whole table. And now Steve-O's chucked a prawn to Macca. He circled back. Yes! Straight into his pie hole. You beauty! Good form, boys. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland. Proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland. Live real.
Winter's coming and prices plummet during Tyre Power's big free sale. Get the power to save on Kumho tyres at Tyre Power. Simply buy 3 and we'll give you 1 free on a great range of Kumho passenger car and SUV tyres. That's right, buy 3 and get 1 free on selected Kumho tyres at Tyre Power. Conditions apply. See website for details. Tyre Power's big free sale is now on. Visit tyrepower.com.au or call 13 21 91 for your local owner operator.
Getting a decent and intelligent tip for the Major League Baseball can be a big hit or miss. So when you're ready to play ball, do things the intelligent way with Global Sports Intelligence. Get the hottest tips on worldwide soccer, baseball, NBA and more sent directly to your phone or email, including exact score tips, handicap markets and total score markets, updated and documented 24/7. Visit gsitips.com.au. Gamble responsibly.
This radio station endorses the commercial radio codes of practice, which have been registered by the Australian Broadcasting Authority. The codes relate to taste and decency, accuracy and fairness in news and current affairs, advertising, Australian music content and complaints handling. Copies of the codes are available by contacting this radio station or Commercial Radio Australia on 02 9281 6577. If you feel a code of practice has been breached and you wish to register a complaint, your complaint should be made in writing. See the complaints section at sen.com.au.
Do something about youth homelessness. Sleep at the G on Thursday, May 16th. This year you can bring your kids too. For T's and C's and to register, visit sleepattheg.com.au. Hosted by Melbourne City Mission and proudly supported by Melbourne Cricket Club and Melbourne Football Club.
Wow, there's some great timber colours here.
Yeah, that's right.
There's reds, browns. I think I want a bit of character. Oh, wow, look at all these choices. Oh, there's tulips.
Let's go for the tulips then. They just look gorgeous.
Tobin Brothers Funerals' latest Memory Maker app now gives you more choice.
Hello, guys, you there?
Yep.
Ask it,
Just wanted to mention you missed a break in that half hour. We won't replace it, so don't. You'll just have to drop it from your schedule.
Okay.
Funerals, celebrate.
On. Change Easton's break.
I invite you to join our team nightly at 6. #1 news.
Welcome in Easton listeners.
Lavinia Nixon's weather forecast. 9 News of the Eastern Football League.
SEN Footy streaming live and exclusively on the all-new SEN app.
It's time for the match of the round. Let's cross to our team and go local for your footy.
Mics are on go.
Yes, welcome back to Zerby's Reserve for the big Division 1 clash between Doncaster East and Park Orchards, right here on 1377 SEN Plus and simulcast on 98.1 Radio Eastern. So good afternoon to all those listeners, as well as the stages are set here for the huge clash between Doncaster East and Park Orchards. Big pre-match. We spoke to both coaches. We got a feel for the game. Now we're going to put our credibility or faux credibility on the line, gents, and go through some tips. Well, introducing for the first time this afternoon, Tim Fitzsimons on debut calling. Tim, good good afternoon.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Nice of you to give me this gig on a day like today. It's much rather be up here than out in the boundary. So, yeah, it's a good day. I just think Doncaster East, they've got so many stars across the board, and it's going to be a very, very tough ask for Park Orchards with the personnel they have out today, with no Tom Fair, no Michael Philp. It's going to be a very tough ask for them, but we know what type of group they are. They put in their all every single week. They're going to be very, very disappointed with how they went last week. So I'm expecting probably the first 10 to 20 minutes they're going to be coming out firing.
Final tip, Doncaster East?
I'm going to go Doncaster East.
Well, just some late ins for Park Orchards. Brendan Weiner, the spearhead, is playing for the Sharks today, so looking forward to seeing him up forward. And Alex Mione, look out for him as well, number 22, Guernsey for Park Orchards. Davo, how do you see this one going?
Look, I think Doncaster East will win it, but I think things change a fraction with having Wynett in. He will straighten them up. He's a difficult customer to play because he plays tall even though he's not. He's good on the ground and he's a beautiful kick generally. So he'll certainly give Park Orchards something up forward, which is an area I thought they might lack, but I'm going to tip Donny East.
Dennis Armfield certainly had his poker face on then when we spoke to him, didn't he? He didn't let slip of either of those two ins.
No, he's done well. He's learning the coaching game very early on.
You're right there.
Brash, how do you see this one playing out?
Well, look, I think the fact that one of their key strengths, Park Orchards, is their ability to run and gun. They're going to have to do that for the majority of the game this afternoon and they're going to have to take their chances when they get them too, because you don't want to leave nothing to chance against a very experienced Doncaster East unit, who seem to have winners on most lines of the ground, and it's a very well-balanced side that they've got in with only really Jake Summers out. So I'm going to tip them this afternoon. I think they can probably win the game by about 30 points, Dan.
I'm going to put you on the spot here, Brash.
Yep.
So we've got a bit of time to fill before the opening bounce. But what's your big call for the game? If there's one player to watch out for, or one big call that you might be able to make, what would it be?
Oh, I'd like to. I don't know. It's a very good one. I like to think that. Let's go with Michael Stephen. The inspiration of Michael Stephen. He might. If he kicks you 3 or 4 goals, I'll go with him.
Davo, what's your big call?
Well, it's going to be big. I'm going to go Wynett kicks 6 in a losing team.
That certainly wouldn't be the first time that has happened.
No.
He's kicked big bags regularly over the years, particularly for Croydon when they've been struggling. But Tim, what's your big call?
I'm liking, on a day like today, the small forwards of Doncaster East. I'm going to say, I think Appleby's kicked a few goals of late, actually, up forward. He kicked 6, I think, maybe last week or the week before, and Chalakis. I reckon they might combine for, I'll say 9 goals. Combine for 9 goals today. Wet day, ball on the deck, 2 small forwards. It's going to be very dangerous.
The ground's in pretty good nick. When you're sitting from here, probably the only soft patch is the cricket pitches in the middle.
It certainly it does look. It looks good, the ground, doesn't it? But you mentioned that middle part of the ground being, I suppose, the different part in the middle of the ground. But given the rain we've copped this morning in Melbourne, and particularly just before when we've been going through pre-game, I was a bit worried with the windows here at Doncaster East whether or not we'd be able to see out the windows. But it's good to see the rain's cleared up. But no, the ground has well and truly come up well for this. My big call for the day is Simon White. Now, he can go down back, he can go up forward, he can hit a dime from just about 50 metres away. I think he'll go very close to our Eastland player of the day, Davo.
That's not a huge call. I'd want something a little bit more adventurous than that, but we'll take that one.
I'll give you something adventurous that Bucksy turned around and said. Phelan has played football at a higher level. I'll be interested. He'll be one of my main interests this afternoon to see how he fits into playing in EFL football, and let's have a look at his street credentials.
Yeah, look, I think one of the things I'm going to be interested in really is how do Park Orchards play this ground, because it's an interesting ground. It's a little bit bigger than a small ground, but it's certainly not a big ground. And one of the things about it is that you can lock the game up fairly easily on this ground, but you can also open it up very easily. So if Park Orchards really do get their running game going, particularly from the half-back line and their wingers, they could actually score quickly if they do that.
And I think it's going to be really important out of the middle. I think here you can get a quick clearance and you can be pretty deep if you use the ball well. And not having Tom Fair in there in the guts for Park Orchards, someone's going to have to step up and really, I guess, fill that position as a bit of a clearance player.
Maybe Michael Prozanek might have to go into the midfield a little bit more.
Yep.
Look, it's going to be one of those players you were talking about, the run off the back line. Price Inglis was one of those players last year. He was one that's prepared to take the game on. It just seems Park Orchards have got it all to play for. They're the ones that they've got to go and hunt the win this afternoon if they want it.
And look, and one of the things you look at the Doncaster East side, and it's a senior side that's well balanced. You look at they're through their mids, their backs, and their forwards. They've got a really nice balance of talls and smalls. Park Orchards, maybe body size is something that might go against them, because you look at the Donny East players. There's a real hardness to the edge of Donny East, and that's why I think they probably can get over the top.
Well, there's certainly an intriguing clash coming up for you. So we'll revisit these big calls after the game's finished as well.
I'm always happy to be proved wrong.
Davo, I know Davo's one is the standout for mine. I think he's going to be bang on the money. If I can have another go at mine, Davo, given you think mine's not going to be not too much of a big call, I'm going to go Haresh Sitharatha to really not so much announce himself, but reinforce why he's one of the great young players here at Doncaster East Football Club.
He's been good off half back so far this year. I've watched a bit of their game against Mooroolbark, and he was very prominent off half back, winning a lot of the footy.
It's interesting that the break came for Park Orchards at a good time as well, particularly after losing that match to Lilydale as well. For both sides, Lilydale and Park Orchards, the Easter break came after that last gasp match. So it would have taken a fair bit out of Park Orchards, and particularly the last 2 weeks in recovering from 2 close losses, as the umpire holds the ball aloft. Doncaster East versus Park Orchards underway, and Batsanis gets a quick kick out to the wing, bouncing towards the boundary line. 2 players contesting the footy, and we'll see a ball in smack bang on the wing here at Zerby's Reserve.
I think Batsanis copped a stray one as he went through. It was all accidental.
So ball toss back into play. Rucks contest. Looks like it's going to be the Sharks to win out on this occasion. Driven into the turf though on that occasion though was Saravolo. No free kick paid. Umpire calls for the ball.
That was a tackle with intent. That's what you'd call that one from Whitnish. It was outstanding.
So Rucks go at it again. Smith wins the tap down. Little chip kick out by Phelan up towards centre half forward. On hands and knees there was Wright, and he's wrapped up.
Oh, he's been pinged too.
And interesting call there by the umpire.
Yeah.
And the free kick going the way of Tom Appleby, sends it long inside forward 50 to the pocket. Just outstretched on that occasion was Mika Stephen, and we'll see a ball inside 50 for Doncaster East.
Interesting to see young Meoni's full forward at the moment for Park Orchards.
So umpire tosses the ball back into play. Rucks go at it. Stephen once again had a second crack at it now and is absolutely wrapped up in the tackle, but got a clever kick out. Marked though on the last line of defence by Park Orchards. Now they're away through Price Inglis. Kick goes out wide. Sitharatha tried to punch, no avail, and now the Sharks. Rain absolutely pelting down once again. Great tackle there on that occasion by Prozanak. And we'll see a ball in once again, or a ball up rather. Driving rain here at Zerby's Reserve. Easy as you like, palm down there by Smith. And the ball will be tossed back into play, smack bang on the wing here at Zerby's Reserve.
I'll tell you what, the Armfield knows he's being tagged. He's usually used to be the tagger, but he knows he's being tagged by Christian Traculia.
Yep.
Has not left his side.
So the ball's tossed back in now. A lot of players around it. Quick kick out there by Connor Hickey. Up to the half-forward line. Well wrapped up there by Prosnak, who kicks long inside forward 50. It's going to be a foot race. Armfield's there. He taps it on. Can he pick it up himself? No, he can't. Well done on the last line of defence there by Papakostantino. So First score of the game there. One behind there to Park Orchards. Looks like it'll be Simon White kicking in from fullback. The rain just easing off a little bit now for the time being. He's going to come across here to this broadcast wing, but he goes straight up the middle. A very, very risky kick. Batsanis looked like he might have been playing for the free kick a bit there. Appleby gets wrapped up in the tackle. The ball spills loose. Now into the middle. Park Orchards with the numbers. They can go inside 50 through Haid. Up the mark not taken there by any player. Well done there by the Doncaster East defence. And they can... Looks like they can compose themselves and go out onto the outer wing. The Park Orchards once again have the numbers behind the ball. Wynett, I should say, can't trap the ball, and it's going to be over the line for a boundary throw in, about 65 out from the Park Orchards goals.
Yeah, it's going to be a real scrappy game early on, and so both sides feel each other out.
So ball toss back into play. Smith once again been dominant early. Prozenak picks it up, finds space, puts it inside forward 50. Bouncing ball, no one able to take it. Sitharatha leads the race now. Beautiful clean pick up there by Sitharatha at half back. Kick is to a contested contest there by and it's James Appleby as they go down the line up towards half forward. Nobody at home though. And Price Inglis sees it over the boundary line and out of bounds. What a pick up there by Sitharatha. Gee, how clean was he? The kick to a contest though.
I think my prediction might be a little bit out because Wynett's playing in the back half at the moment. His ability to kick 6 from the back half might be struggling.
So the ball tossed back in now. About 40 out from the Doncaster East goal. Chappell in front gets the tap down. Now Wright can, with a long sweeping handball to the outer side. Chance now for Wynett. The man Davo just spoke about in defence. Good body use there by the Doncaster East defender. The ball now with Park Orchards. They can go forward. Up to half forward, the half forward line. It's a good mark out in front. Looks like it's Mione. The late inclusion there for Park Orchards. He goes long to the square out the back. Connor Hickey can't mark. Well done there on the last line of defence. It looks like it might have been Lowther there for Doncaster East, and he's able to escort the ball over for a behind. So Park Orchards, 2 behinds here on the Eastland scoreboard. Doncaster East yet to score. We'll go over to the score centre with Barry Potts.
Yes, good afternoon, gentlemen. Division 3, and it's Churnside Park 2 behinds to Glen Waverley, no score, and Warrandyte 117 to Waverley Blues, 1 goal straight.
So little chip kick in by Simon White, hits Traculia on the chest, and now Doncaster East are away. Only momentarily though, kicks into the man on the mark, Evan Smead. Will he make him pay? On the run again, Smead, what's he going to do? Handball's inboard, and they should kick this. Armfield, clever little handball over the top, little chip kick over the top, and he's missed in the square. I think that might have been Mione.
It was.
I think it hit the post.
Hit the post. So a golden opportunity gone, begging for Park Orchards early on. And, must be a very slippery ball out there given the rain we've copped. So Simon White brings it back into play out wide to the wing. Clever punch over the top there by Wright. Now the Sharks look away through Hyde into the middle. Ordinary kick, though, lands in the arms of Smith up towards centre half forward. Bouncing ball. They've got plenty of numbers here. Park Orchards to work things out as they do at half back. Bouncing ball picked up nicely there by Gordon. Beautiful kick inside forward 50. And hits Clark on the chest. And that was cool, calm and collected under pressure by Tom Gordon there. And it looks like Jacob Clark's going to fancy himself from here and have a shot. Why wouldn't you? From the paint, pops it up. It's not going to make the distance. Top of the square, and now it lands firmly in the arms of Bahaja, who dribbles it along the ground up towards half back. And now the Sharks have got plenty of numbers here to work things out. Clever look away. Handball was good, but wrapped up in the tackle there, the Park Orchards defender. And we'll see a ball up at half back for the Sharks.
You can see already that Park Orchards playing very, very high up all over the ground. Slingshot football at the moment they're trying to play.
So Rucks go at it. Nobody able to get a tap away. Phelan pops it inside 50 for Doncaster East, and the mark taken there by James Appleby. And he'll go back and have a shot to put through the Lions first for the afternoon.
He's a chance from here because it's not a bad place to kick goals from over that side at Doncaster East.
So James Appleby for the first major for the afternoon. They haven't scored yet, Doncaster East. Park Orchards have had a lot of the play in their forward line. Kick comes in, goal umpire just away to the right and through for a minor score. So Doncaster East 1 behind, Park Orchards 3 behind. 7.5 minutes gone on the Eastland scoreboard.
And not that we can tell from here, but looking at the trees, it does look like Doncaster East are kicking with a little bit of a breeze as well.
That's what it looked like in the resis when the rain was coming down. It was just going towards that end there. So it'll be Jacob Price-Inglis taking the kick-in duties for Park Orchards. Looks like he's got to come here to the change room side. Not his best effort, and it's out on the full. So another chance here for Doncaster East. White with a kick into the pocket. He can't quite find the target there. Looked like to be Gordon in the pocket. And it's going to be out of bounds for a throw-in, but in a pretty dangerous spot for Doncaster East.
Almost like that wind dragged the ball a little bit over the line as well.
So the ball back into play now. Stephen gets the front position with a nice tap out the back, but it's Park Orchards with the numbers, but overrunning it there was Haid, but it looks like it's going to be a free kick to Park Orchards, and then it'll be Heron taking the kick across the face. Looks like they're going to have a steady build up here, Park Orchards. Campbell Crome, been good in defence this year so far for Park Orchards. Now back to this broadcast position here. We've got Price-Inglis. Not too much on offer up the ground, and that's not the best kick because Batsanis is standing right in the perfect position. Bit too far out to score.
Actually, both clubs have been very sloppy coming out of their back 50.
So he's given the handball off, and now it's a long kick right to the goal line, but it's just hit the post. Flying shot on goal there by Sam Gold. Would have been a very, very good kick and a very good effort to get the first goal on the board, but not to be, just to the right and hitting the post.
He was inside the square when he kicked that.
So Wynett brings it back into play. Bahaja at half back. Chip kick over the top was a good one.
He's been good so far, Bahaja.
He's been fantastic. And, Wynett was a long way out from goal when he kicked in, wasn't he, Davo?
He was. I'll tell you what, he's going to have to be moved, I believe. I'd be making the move now as a coach. Put him up forward.
So George, true full-back position. Speak of the devil, Wynett at half back. Little chip kick over the top was a good one. Finds Evan Smead.
Doncaster East have covered the space well in this situation.
So Smead long down the line to a contest. Shoved out, was he? No. Umpire called play on. And the Sharks look to go inside forward 50. But brought down in the tackle there was Whitnish. Holding the ball, said the umpire. And free kick going the way of the Lions. So a little sideways kick to Batsanis at half back. Not too much on offer at the moment. It looks like he's just going to have to put it up and go to a contest, which he does, right in front of our broadcast position here at Zerby's Reserve. No one able to take the grab. That was Turner. And courageous mark taken there by Trakulia. And now they're away the lines. Batsanis pops them inside forward 50. Nobody looks like they're at home, though. And now the Sharks under a fair bit of pressure. Can they work it out? And this is Stephen. Just at the bottom of that pack there and just can't seem to get a clean kick out. But the Sharks once again, little snap around the corner was a good one up towards half back. The fist came from behind. Oh, and now the Sharks through the middle of the ground. Russian roulette footy at the moment. And they're away, the Sharks. They've got plenty of numbers. Leading the race there is Christian Fair against Trakulia. Just soccer kick along the ground. Clever. Just keeps the ball alive. Very clever. Sitharatha holding his hammer. And the ball goes over the line and out of bounds for a throw in deep in the Sharks forward 50.
Gained a valuable 20 metres there. That little dinky kick.
Jared Lowther's gone off the ground with what looked like an ankle injury. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see whether he comes on. He got a bit of a crusher earlier on.
So ball toss back into play. Smith missed the ball and now Doncaster East. Trakulia fed the handball out. Sitharatha, clever work once again. Can they work things out? Batsanis runs out of room. Boundary throw in. Left half forward for the Lions.
Just looks like both sides are almost out as they're trying to get through the middle, but the defence holding up just well enough at the moment. So the ball back into play. It'll be Smith and Debney. Smith going over the top. Park Orchards with the numbers at the fall of the ball. Smart tap on there by Whitnish. Looks like there's going to be a free kick though. I'm not quite sure what for.
I think it was for holding, but it was only just.
So it'll be Jay Whitnish with the ball just too far out to score. He's just going to pop it up to a dangerous position just in the pocket. Good fist over the top. It's going to be James Locke leading the way. Can't tap it in front. But they've still got the numbers here, the Lions. Batsanis with a short, careful kick. Oh, not quite on though. Tom Gordon was there. But once again, the foot skills letting both sides down here. And a chance now for Jared White. to go back in board. Well, I don't know if it was a call to mark, but it's play on either way. Armfield gets the ball in his hands, out wide to Whitnish. Left foot ball into a dangerous position, but it's all Lions footy there. Simon White chasing after it. Bit of a contest. Comes to the ground. Looks like it's going to be trickled over for a boundary throw-in, however, it will.
They've just not got the target up there at the moment. Park Orchards have had plenty of ball inside their 50.
Let's go to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Division 3 scores, Churnside Park 1-2-8 to Glen Waverley Hawks, 3 behind 3 points, and Warrandyte 2-2-14 to Waverley Blues, 1 goal straight 6.
Smith wins the tap down, but the umpire's called for a free kick here. It seems it's going to go the way of Park Orchards, and Alex Mione to take it. I didn't quite see what that was for.
It must have been a ruck. It looked like I thought it was shepherding in the ruck.
To be honest, Dan, I really don't know which way a ruck free kick is going to go. A lot of the time it's a bit of push and shove either way, isn't it?
So Alex Mione comes in. He'll fancy himself from here to put through the first major of the afternoon. Kick looks good off the boot and he split the middle. Park Orchards draw first blood. 1-3-9 the Sharks. Doncaster East 2 behinds. 13.5 minutes gone opening term.
Yeah, they've probably worked the ball or used the ball a little bit better than Doncaster East. Doncaster East have capitalised on some turnovers, but they've probably looked pretty dangerous down there in that forward line, Park Orchards at this stage. It's just greasy enough to be a little bit clumsy with this. I reckon that if there's no more rain, the standard will pick up in the next 10 or 15 minutes.
I just think Doncaster East have been a bit lazy as well with their disposal out of that back 50.
So back in the middle, Smith wins it down, but the Sharks have got the numbers here. Jackatine wrapped up in the tackle. The umpire calls for it. So ball tossed up once again. Smith wins it down and been fairly dominant in the ruck so far, and they get the clearance through Prozenak. High up and under kick inside forward 50. Bodies fly, no one able to take the mark. They got numbers out the back here, Doncaster East. Great tackle. Umpire called play on. Now they're under a fair bit of pressure, the Lions. Whitling just grubs a kick out wide towards half back. And plenty of numbers here as they drive it down the wing, Doncaster East. Nobody there though, and George chopping that one off. So George looks inboard and finds Turner playing his first game of the season today, as we heard from Dennis Armfield in pre-game. Turner moves it on very quickly, bouncing ball. Smith once again pops it long inside forward 50. They've got plenty of numbers here. Doncaster East leading the race is Gold, and he's missed.
Do you grab the ball there?
And gee, a good opportunity gone pegging for the Lions. And they go to 3 behinds. Park Orchards 1-3-9. Just looking at that on the replay, tried to hack it out of mid-air. A soccer-style goal. He probably just should have grabbed it and strolled in.
That's something you do when you're 12 goals in front.
Yeah.
So it'll be Hyde bringing the ball back in. Setting himself there was Mead, can't take the mark. Lions with the numbers out the ball. Batsanis with a high ball inside 50. Making a good leap at it there. Well, can't quite see, but it's gone out of bounds, and it's out of bounds for a throw-in, probably 10 metres out from the Lions' goals. A very dangerous position here. A few of the marks just going down as well with that greasy ball. It's not just the foot skills. So it'll be Stephen and Chappell in the ruck. Stephen gets his way to the fall of the ball. No one able to get clean possession at the moment. Brock McLean now. He's escorted over the line there by Matthew George, and it'll be a throw-in once again in the exact same position.
I think at the moment what's happening is that Doncaster is dwelling on Park Orchards winning the contest because they're winning most of them.
So Stephen works his way to the front once again. Contested ball, looking to get it back. James Locke now with a handball over to Mead. Mead with a quick left foot kick on his favoured side, but it's just to the right. Well, fair way to the right actually in the end. It's at behind. So Doncaster East, 4 behinds. Park Orchards 1-3-9 here on the Eastland scoreboard. Score centre now around the grounds with Barry Cotts.
Yeah, Premier Division born 1-1-7, 10-minute mark first quarter to Roval, no score.
Thanks, Barry, as Brendan Wynett just waits for the ball to be fetched out of that mini forest here we've got at Zerby's Reserve. 5 points the difference on the Eastland scoreboard. Wynett absolutely roosted out towards half back. Has he gone too far? He has. Out of bounds on the full.
It's twice they've done that now.
And Daniel Mead to take it. So Mead wasting no time, pops it up to a contest, and Park Orchard's got plenty of numbers here. It's ball just slipping through the Park Orchard's defenders' hands there. Numbers out the back though. Under pressure there was Chrome, but they move it quickly now through the middle of the ground. But Doncaster East scooped up by Simon White here on the wing, and just a clever handball over the top to McLeod. Gets it back, Simon White, and roosts it up towards half forward. Outnumbered 2-on-1 situation, and now Hyde at half back. Kick was partially smothered. Driven into the turf though was Turner. And he'll earn himself a free kick for High. So they keep going now. Park Orchard's right off half back. Launches it long to a contest. Nobody able to take it. Slippery ball at the moment. Players just can't seem to get clean purchase and pick it up. Bahaja finds himself at the bottom of that pack. And Sitharatha wrapping him up in the tackle will have a ball up. Centre half forward for Park Orchards.
That was actually a good contest there. Bahaja played for the free kick, and the young boy didn't fall for it, so it was a nice bit of football there.
So ball tossed up once again. Phelan's kick was smothered. And Sitharatha, little soccer kick along the ground though, puts the Sharks in a very dangerous position in the forward pocket. Just boundary line beats all comers though, as we tick over 18.5 minutes in the opening term. It is Park Orchards 1-3-9 at Doncaster East, 4 behinds on the Eastland scoreboard.
I don't think Coach Steve Buckel will be very happy with the composure of Doncaster East in this first quarter. They seem to be panicking and more finicky.
Oh, quick soccer off the ground there. Looks like it might have been rushed through there from Doncaster East. Just getting a shoe in there. So just a minor score to Park Orchards. Simon White bringing the ball back in once again for Doncaster East. Taking the short option on in Phelan, who uses White once again. Trying to find an opening out of this defence. Nothing giving at the moment, so he's going long. Looks like a good kick though, because he's found his man. Looks like it might be Ayubi. Handball over the top now, they can run. Whitling along the boundary line, brings it back in, but it's a poor option because it's all Park Orchards back there. And they can compose themselves. Very poor ball use going forward at the moment from Doncaster East, it must be said.
That was more kick and hope, really.
It was. So, Wynett gets it back. A bit of a 1-2.
What he wanted to do was kick over the top. He just didn't have the length in the kick.
Well, good interception there. Doncaster East with an opportunity to go forward. James Locke, small left foot ball, not his best effort there. George can't pick it up. Coming through there with Shalakis with a handball back to Locke. Finds himself in a bit of trouble, so he uses Shalakis' left foot. Brock McLean's the one to set himself in a good position. Can't quite drag down the mark, but a quick left foot ball from Nick Batsanis gives Doncaster East their first goal, bringing the scores level, 1-4-10 apiece here. 20 minutes gone here in the first quarter.
That's the difference when you've got someone that's as experienced then as McLean. Both players took their eyes off their opponents, went to McLean to spoil it, and it's gone down to one of their opponents.
Well, let's go to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Division 3, and it's a close game between Glen Waverley and Chertside Park. It's all tied up 1-3-9 apiece, and Waverley Blues and Warrandyte 3-3-21 to Waverley Blues, 2 goals straight, 12.
Very intriguing clash, that one, as we spoke about in the pre-game. Waverley Blues versus Warrandyte.
Just a quick one before this centre bounce. Davo, what's the importance here? What's the coach's strategy with the centre circle right next to this wing? You've really got to be smart about, which side you.
And you've got to use your fifth on-baller on this close end, close side.
So Rucks go at it once again. They get the clearance, Doncaster East. Whitling high up and under kick inside forward 50. Fisk came from behind from the Sharks. Bursting through there on that occasion was Park Orchard's defender. I think it was Turner. And the umpires called for a free kick, legged. On that occasion, Shalakis has won himself the free at centre half forward. And the numbers absolutely stream back for Doncaster East. Very congested forward line at the moment. Shalakis gets it on the boot. Long kick up towards the top of the square. Who can take a mark? No one can. Numbers at the back, Park Orchards, but ball absolutely clean bowls George through for a minor score for the Lions. They go to 1-5-11. Park Orchards 1-4-10 on the Eastland scoreboard as Price Inglis wastes no time bringing the ball back into play. Goes wide. Mark taken there at half back. Little chip pass over the top. Not a lot on at the moment. They're just going man on man, it seems, throughout most of the ground. But Bryce Inglis has found space in the middle of the ground. Little chip kick up towards half forward was a good one. And now turns and wheels is Debney up towards the pocket. Mark taken there by Nicholson.
Great work rate from Bryce Inglis, wasn't it? That kick in.
All set it up from there. He's found space through the middle and absolutely cut Doncaster East to shreds with that pinpoint pass up towards half forward.
High risk, high reward. That was, going through the middle on this ground's a danger, but the kick was perfect. The run on was great.
So Matthew Nicholson goes the check side and misses. So a minor score locks things up once again. 1-5-11 apiece. 22 and a half minutes gone on the Eastland scoreboard. Let's go to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yeah, we've got a score from Division 4, Kilside 3-4-22 to Crawdon North, Imlock 1-1-7. So Kilside coming back after last week.
So Appleby the man with the ball in hand, goes out to the outer side, looking to move the ball. It's nice and slowly at the moment, which forces the long kick up the line. Gore, big leap over the back there, might have been from George, but Lock at ground level, gets the handball out to himself. Taking in a strong tackle, now Park Orchards with an opportunity to go forward. Ball beats all comers. Now it goes to the broadcast position here. Brock McLean with good strong hands. Right, not much Wright could do about that one. So they move it to half forward. Phelan takes the mark. Can he turn and go quickly? He can. Gets it off to Whitling, who goes inside 50. No mark there taken by Stephen. Park Orchards with the numbers out the back. They should be able to clear. The kick might just a bit too long there for Wright. Gives an opportunity for McLean, but he's escorted over the line and we'll have a throw in. Just a bit further out than half forward for Doncaster East. Nothing separates these sides on the scoreboard at the moment. So it'll be Chappell and Smith. Smith to the front position, gets the tap down. Coming through there well was Appleby. Quick kick on the left, but coming back, taking a good mark there in the long sleeves is Smead, who now switches to the outer side. Not his best effort. Gives a good chance for Gordon to get in there. The bigger body wins out in the end. Well done by George going up against him. Probably one man you wouldn't want to go up against in a one-on-one there, Tom Gordon. But the boundary line will beat all comers and it'll be a throw in as we cross to Barry Cotts once again.
Division 1, East Ringwood 1-8, Trail Knox 139.
So ball back in at ground level. Smead gets his hands on it, gets a quick handball out, but it's all going to be wrapped up once again. It's about 45 out from the Doncaster East goal. Can't be too long left in this opening term. Only the 2 goals scored. 25 minutes gone almost. The ball trickles towards the boundary line. It's kept in though. A very, very dangerous kick. It might have gone through. It has. What a terrific goal there from the boundary. It's a left foot snap.
I reckon that might be Saravola.
It might have been. I think you're right there, Brash.
Well, a contender for the Tobin brothers
Definitely
goal of the day.
Making his way up from half back. He almost threw it on the boot there from the boundary line on his left, and it's gone straight through the middle in the end. So a terrific goal. It gives Doncaster East a 1-goal lead on the Eastland scoreboard as we head to Barry Cotts for the score centre.
Yeah, Premier Division Norwood 1 goal straight 6 to South Crawdon 1 behind 1 point.
I think when the breeze is blowing towards that area, so just got on the breeze and went through. So great goal from that pocket.
So back in the middle now as the Sharks look to reply. Turner had possession and lost it, and the ball going absolutely nowhere. Ball up in the middle of Zerby's reserve. So Rucks go at it once again. Sharks win it. And Phelan, look away, handball, but the Sharks repel. This is Simon White though. Little chip pass over the top to Batsanis was a good one. And now Batsanis just looking for his best option. Not a heck of a lot on, so he's just going to pop it up inside forward 50 for the Lions. Fisk came over the top there, was a good one from Chappell. And the ball goes over the line and out of bounds for a throw-in. Repeating that score, 2-5-17 Doncaster East, Park Orchards 1-5-11 on the Eastland scoreboard. Nearly 26 and a half gone opening term. Inaccuracy from both sides in this opening term as Shalakis had his kick partially smothered, and now the Sharks up towards half back. Brock McLean handball doesn't pay off, and now the Sharks out the back. Nicholson leads in the race. Trakuya, though, he's got to beat. Trakuya cleverly done, but they'll waltz into goal here. Dennis Armfield makes no mistake, kicks the goal. Sharks reply, scores level. 2-5, 17 apiece on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
And that is what they call classic slingshot football. That they brought everybody up one side of the ground, and as soon as they got it, they just put it over the top into space and allowed their players to run back. And Armfield, and I really like this Mione. I like what he does. He probably made a mistake going to ground then, but it caused the Donny East player to kick the ball on the ground, and then Armfield got the rest. So, you know, you can see the different styles that are occurring here, and that's one that definitely Park Orchards have got. Everyone up, try and go over the top and run them off the legs.
So back in the middle now. It's going to be an interesting next couple of minutes if it goes this long, given we haven't had too many goals kicked in this opening term. Lions win it, bursting through on that occasion. There was Clark, and he's won himself the free kick, high contact. So Clark puts his side inside forward 50. Fist over the top came from Chappell, I think it was. And now the Sharks look to repel. Handball at the back was clever. Crome now gets it back and just drives it down the wing. Simon White's got two to beat. Shoved on the boot there by Fasan. And the ball goes across the line and out of bounds. Out of bounds on the full. So Gold brings it back into play. Finds Brock McLean. So McLean just handballs over the top now to Simon White. Just thumped on the boot at half forward. We'll head to Barry Cotts in the score centre in just a moment. Shalakis finding himself slung around, and ball finds the boundary line. Let's go to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yeah, Premier Division, and it's in the Blackburn game. Vermont 2-1-13 to Blackburn, 2 behinds, 2 points, and Baldwin 2-1-13 to Roval 1-1-7, 20-minute mark first quarter.
Thanks for that, Barry. As the ball gets tossed back into play, Lock will kick along the ground. Very sloppy conditions out here today that can't seem to get clean purchase, but a bounce has just been had by the Park Orchards defender. That was Jackatine. High ball to the middle of the ground. Batsanis couldn't take the mark, and now they go forward. Park Orchards through Bahaja. Nicholson's hit on the chest. And was he off? No, he wasn't. So he'll go back and have a shot.
That's it,
It's Mione, actually.
And they were always going to get that because they had 3 of their players streaming towards goal, and all they had to do was put it over the top of the defence, and they were always going to get that football. So again, a good bit of play by Mione.
He's found himself a bit of space in that forward half so far in this quarter.
Well, when they bring everybody right up basically to the middle of the ground and they don't split until they've got the football, then they're always going to have space to run onto. And he's got a bit of toe.
So Alex Mione has been prominent early in this game for his side as the kick looks all right off the boot. It swings back around, and Park Orchards hit the front. 3-5-23. Doncaster East 2-5-17, and that's his second goal on the Eastland scoreboard.
Yeah, look, they've played really well this quarter, Park Orchards. They've taken their chances when they've had to. They're kicking the ball, Davo, into their full line with just a little bit more purpose.
Well, they've got a bit of structure, whereas I think you look down at the Doncaster East and every time it's just been a long kick and hope that the contest they'll get someone off the bottom of the pack.
So it'll be Stephen and Debney. Stephen just lets Debney have the tap and finds it again at ground level. Gets a handball out. Looks like it was for Prozenak. But Brock McLean able to get a quick high ball out to the wing. But that'll end the first quarter here at Zerby's Reserve. It's a 1-goal lead here to Park Orchards. They've been good early. 3-5-23 leading Doncaster East 2-5-17 on the Eastland scoreboard. Davo, slippery conditions, but looks like Park Orchards are just able to get that one out the back a bit more often than Doncaster East.
Yeah, look, they've played pretty well, I think. As you said, conditions are pretty slippery. It hasn't been clean at all. They've tried their handball run and gun style, and they've been able to set up really well in that area.
Well, an intriguing second quarter coming up as we head to a break here on EFL Game Day. You're listening to 1377 SEN+.
Monday from 9 on SEN.
Hello, I'm...
And you're clear.
In our team nightly at 6
minutes.
Tony Jones with the latest sport, including the footy, plus Lavinia Nixon's weather forecast. 9 News, proud supporter of the Eastern Football League.
You've all been to funerals of family members or friends, right? Do you start thinking about what you would want at your funeral? It's a bit like when you go to a wedding.
Yeah, that's right.
At what stage do you start planning?
Have an open and honest conversation with your loved ones. Celebrate your life the way you want, like I did with a fixed price funeral plan from Tobin Brothers Funerals. The price doesn't change and your life will be celebrated your way. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Only 19 shots from 53 inside 50s, down on clearances and can't lay a tackle. What was the seniors coach going to do? Jono surprised himself and everyone else. The spray he gave the boys at half-time worked. Well, he did finish it by saying he'd shout them a post-game feed and frothies at Eastland if they won. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland, proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland, live real.
G'day. Here's a slightly intelligent way to get all the latest tips for worldwide soccer. Just jump on a plane to England, grab a cab from the airport to the nearest pub, find a group of locally looking blokes and listen in. Then rush to a bookie to get your bets on. Or there's the global sports intelligence way, where you just sit at home and get all the latest market updates on your PC, phone or pad. For the best tips on worldwide soccer, baseball, NBA and more, visit gsitips.com.au. Intelligent, easy. Gamble responsibly.
Winter's coming and prices plummet during Tyre Power's big free sale. Get the power to save on Kumo tyres at Tyre Power. Simply buy 3 and we'll give you 1 free on a great range of Kumo passenger car and SUV tyres. That's right, buy 3 and get 1 free on selected Kumo tyres at Tyre Power. Conditions apply. See website for details. Tyre Power's big free sale is now on. Visit tyrepower.com.au or call 13 21 91 for your local owner operator.
Look, there's no easy way to do this, but I can't live here anymore. You know I love it here. In fact, you're the reason I've stayed here so long. It's just the time has come. I have got to get home for dinner.
Hate saying goodbye to your radio? Download Radio app on your phone and take your favourite station anywhere. Radio app, free from the App Store and Google Play.
These undies that I'm holding are no ordinary undies. In fact, they're ovaries. Because on May 8th, World Ovarian Cancer Day, you're going to wear them over your pants. Like a true hero. 100% of the profits will go to Ovarian Cancer Australia to fight Australia's deadliest female cancer. So, start saving lives and buy your ovaries in-store or online today at Bonds or Bras and Things. It's time for overreaction.
Hello, I'm Peter Hitchener. 9 News invites you to join our team nightly at 6 for Melbourne's
45 seconds.
Sport, including the footy, plus Lavinia Nixon's weather forecast. 9 News, proud supporter of the Eastern Football League.
The only thing I would think about is who I'd be buried next to. I mean, that would matter to me.
Well, that's pre-planning because you'll need to get the plots next to each other.
Yeah, that's true. They're good conversations to have, aren't they? Because they give you a reference point if you've had no clear instruction or conversation.
Have an open and honest conversation. Celebrate your life the way you want, like I did, with a fixed price funeral plan from Tobin Brothers Funerals. The price
coming up to 10.
Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
The Kids Edition with Daisy Pearce returns Sunday morning from 8 on SEN.
All right, here we go. Put your mics back on. And go.
Yes, welcome back to Zerby's Reserve for the big Division 1 clash between Doncaster East and Park Orchards. And at quarter time, it's Park Orchards 3-5-23, leading Doncaster East 2-5-17 as we go through the goal kickers. Alex Mione for the Sharks has 2 and Dennis Armfield has 1, while for the Lions, Batsanis has 1, as does Saravolo. Interesting opening term, gents, in the fact that both sides fairly wasteful in front of goal, albeit in very greasy conditions.
Yes, Dan, and look, really, I thought Park Orchards had the better of it. They seemed to, they were prepared to run and try and test Doncaster East stamina. They were pushing up the ground and then trying to catch them on the rebound, which they did successfully. Doncaster East, I thought, were a bit lazy with their disposal out of their back 50. A lot of their stuff. A lot of their clearance work from the midfield. They were winning the ball, but they were kicking it into their forward line. There was no structure there. There was no one leading. Just a pretty ordinary performance, and I don't think Steve Buckel would have been too happy with that. And I wouldn't dare say, I would dare say that if they might have got a serve at quarter time.
Yeah, I think a little bit both teams were a bit one-dimensional, but one of the thing was that Park Orchards at least had that opportunity when the ball went forward to open it up, and that was the difference, was that because they kept their forward line incredibly open, when the ball went in, it just became a foot race. And, young Meoni's quick, and we know Armfield's quick, and they've both worked together really, really well. Whereas the ball's, every time it's gone into Doncaster East forward line, it's been a contest in the air. The ball's been brought to ground. It's just been a bit of luck to see who gets it. And Park Orchards have rebounded and returned it from their defensive area quite well. So I expect that, as Brash said, I think Steve Buckel will have given Doncaster East a fair serve and might see a different side.
Well, interesting second term coming up. Just repeating that score, 3-5-23, Park Orchards leading Doncaster East 2-5-17. 2 goals to Alex Meoni and 1 to Dennis Armfield, while for the Lions, Nick Batsanis and Saravolo with a major each. As the players just file into position here at Zerby's Reserve. Sun coming out as well amid rainy conditions earlier on, which has made it very challenging for both sides. In the opening term, as we get the second term underway, umpire holds the ball aloft and rucks go at it. Smith once again comes over the top, and now they look to get the clearance. Smart handball off there by Batsanis. Brock McLean kick around the corner, was repelled straight away, and there's a bit going on in the middle of the ground, a bit of a collision, I think, between two players, and players stopped. Can't quite see who.
Smith and Chappell, the ruckman.
2 ruckmen.
So they must have collided at the...
Might have been a clash. I'm wondering if it was a clash of heads.
Well, the trainer's out here now, and the Park Orchards ruckman looks to be in a world of pain. Smith has gotten up.
Well, Smith has jumped up higher and jumped into him, managed to use his knee, but what's happened is that as he's come down, he's fallen on top, I think, of the other ruckman, and that's where they've clashed.
Looks to be Josh Chappell, is it?
Yeah.
Josh Chappell for Park Orchards. So they're in the arms of the trainer at the moment. Let's hope it's nothing too serious as he looks to find his way off the ground.
Well, at least he's walking off. That's a good sign. Just take him off and give him a spell.
So play restarts. Smith once again palms it down, but the Sharks get the clearance up towards half forward. Hickey kick around the corner. Up towards the top of the square, bouncing ball. They've got numbers at the back here. It's that man once again. Meoni has drilled it home. And Park Orchards go to 4-5-29. Doncaster East 2-5-17. 2-goal margin in favour of the Sharks. Minute and a half gone. Second term on the Eastland scoreboard.
Just smart play. And they got the ball in quickly so they didn't allow the Doncaster East players to flood back. Ball hit the ground, and that was just smart craft. That was forward craft then. Allowed his player to go up, ball a bit slippery over the back, and a clever goal.
Dennis Armfield very slow to get up there as well in the forward line. With Chappell going off, it's really going to increase this workload here for Will Debney. Only really a part-time pinch hit ruckman.
Well, he's got to stand up, doesn't he?
Yeah,
He's got to stand up and help his team out by sacrificing his prior role at centre half forward and going, okay, coming up against a real young kid that wants to jump into me, well, maybe jump a little bit earlier because he won't be able to out-wrestle him. He's a big lad.
No.
Let's see how they go first up here. Smith with the tap over the top. Oh, very hard collision there. But it looks like it's going to be Park Orchards going forward through Whitnish. Up to the half-forward line. A quick snap there from Prozenak, I think it was, but it's off target just to the right and a minor score. Extend their lead out to 13 points now.
I think it was young Appleby.
James Appleby.
He's running into his own player.
Jeez. Smith has had a very influential couple of centre bounces, hasn't he? So
the score's 1-1.
We need to get a couple of kids behind them goals. This is the second time we've had to travel a fair way.
They're scared to go into the forest.
Bit wet as well, I think.
Maybe the boogeyman's there.
So Simon White Goes and retrieves it from that forest Davo was speaking about.
Doesn't have the luxury of the ball boy like he had back in the AFL with the cooler of footies behind the goals.
No.
So White takes the short option. It's allowed by Park Orchards and gets it back with the 1-2. Nothing on offer on this wing here, so he has to go out to the outer side. It's going to be slow play now. So I think it's McLeod out there actually, going out wide, and a good strong mark on the outer side. They can work it back inside now. Phelan, he's got numbers across the ground which he decides to use. Jared Lowther now up the line to Brock McLean. They've got a bit of space. They can move it quickly. Well held up there by the man on the mark in Whitnish. But now, or Jackatine I should say, but inside, found the option. Gold across the centre half forward. It's a good kick, and making his way up from defence looks to be Simon White once again.
That wasn't the player who's going to kick it to, by the way.
Oh, he's found an option. That's poor manning there by the Park Orchards defence, and it gives the opportunity for Chris Phelan to have a shot at goal in a very, very gettable position, about 35 out, directly in front.
He's a nice mover, this Phelan.
He is, isn't he? I noticed the same, and I'm going to put the Moz on him because I think he's a beautiful kicker of the football.
So in he comes. Looks to be a good kick, slightly right, but he snuck it home. And a good reply there from Doncaster East. They get their third of the day. It's 3-5-17, trailing Park Orchards 4-6-30. We've gone 5 minutes here in the second term.
It's probably the first time that Doncaster East has shown any semblance of structure there to move the ball into their forward line, and Park Orchards didn't even get a chance to touch it.
I think what happened was that Park Orchards played one player behind the contest then, and his player was the one that became the link player right through. So, just got to be careful when you're doing that against a side as good as Doncaster East.
So 4-6 plays 3-5 on the Eastland scoreboard. 7-point margin in favour of the Sharks. Intriguing clash so far here at Zerby's Reserve. Debney wins the tap. Crome in and amongst it, dispossessed of the footy. Now McLean gets the clearance out, up towards centre half forward. 3-on-1 situation. Shalakas had 3 to beat. They win out the Sharks. Beautiful soccer off the ground there by George. Gained some valuable meterage. Now White has it a defender hot on his hammer. What can he do? Sock it off the ground there cleverly though by Bahaja. Works its way towards the boundary line and just kept in play. Players appealing for the free kick and the umpire calls for it.
How good was Matt George there, attacking the ball hard and then soccering it about 50 metres up the ground.
So the ball will be tossed in deep in attack for Park Orchards. Smith wins it down. Hacked off the ground there by Trakulia. Chopped off though by Evan Smead. Beautiful tackle on Phelan there by Bahaja. Brock McLean at ground level now. Feeds the handball out to Smith. Sitharatha. Boundary line beats him. We'll see another throw in.
Good work by Park Orchards then. They were out. Donny East are out, but they're finding it a bit hard to get out of that half back line, Donny East, at the moment.
Yep, they are.
Good pressure on the ball carrier.
So it looks like rain coming down once again as the umbrellas go up around the ground. Smith wins the tap downfield and went without it. Little hacking kick out of defence now for the Lions. Shalakas this way, that way, gets it out to Batsanis, who finds a player in space. Now they're away, the Lions, up towards centre half forward. Beautiful mark taken there. I think that's Gold. So players streaming towards goal now. He's got plenty of numbers in space. Oh, kick was outstretched for Brock McLean though. In the pocket, what can he do? He kicked one similar for Carlton a few years ago to win the game against the Tigers. I remember that night very well. But not to be on this occasion. George marks on the last line of defence. So George across the ground now. Wynett in the back pocket. Plenty of time and space. Oh, that's a risky looking kick, and Ayubi chops it off at half back. So plenty of flooding going on here. Ayubi, oh, that's a wobbler of a kick inside forward 50. Lands in the arms of Mika Stephen, and he steers it through. Fortuitous kick inside forward 50. And Doncaster East got a 4-5-29. Park Orchards 4-6-30 on the Eastland scoreboard. 8 minutes gone.
What do they call it? I think that was Port Adelaide against West Coast. They call that dirty ball, don't they? The way he kicked the ball in there. Along the ground, basically, just bounced anywhere. And very good hands, though, from Mika Stephen.
I think I'd be just going up to semi-gold and say, mate, just take a breath. You know, look for something better option. He's had a few chances there and he's not taking them.
So Smith over the top. Good tackle there by Locke. Wraps it up. Crowd calls for ball and the umpire's going to pay it.
That was a good tackle there by James Locke.
Good tackle. Pin the arms, did very well. So James Locke looking for a target inside forward 50. Not too much movement now. So he goes out to the pocket. No mark taken. Appleby with the good shark off the pack there. But he's wrapped up immediately and we're going to have a ball up about 45 out, 40 out from Doncaster East goal, right near the boundary line. Smith gets a tap in board, but it's going to be Park Orchards with the clearing kick. Ball out the back. Well done there by Lowther, but he can't take the mark. And it's knocked over. We're going to have a boundary throw in here right on centre wing.
Just starting to get on top, Doncaster East around the contest.
So there's quite a few numbers around this ball.
It's man on man, look at it. It's
yeah, this is the old-fashioned style football, isn't it, today?
That's it. Right on there by Stephen. Good body use at ground level now. Looks like there's going to be a free kick. It's going to go to, I think it's Bahaja there, I think it is.
Yep,
Bahaja. So he goes up the line. It's not the best kick. Interesting option there by Simon White, using his feet to Brock McLean. Now he gets the handball out to Phelan. Inside 50, looking for his man in Smith. Can't mark it. Shalakis comes across the front, but he can't quite pick it up. Now James Locke uses his hands to Shalakis. Gets it back. Has to go over the top now. Phelan in a tight angle. Good composure. Shalakis kick smothered off the boot, and it's going to go out of bounds for a boundary throw in. So we're going to head over to Barry Cotts for the score centre.
Yeah, the score update. Premier Division, Vermont 2-3-15, Blackburn 3 behind 3 points at the end of the first quarter.
Thanks, Barry. As the umpire tosses the ball back into play, deep in attack for the Lions. Smith winning the tap. Phelan came crunching through. Shalakis just trying to get a possession in and amongst the scramble. And that ball going nowhere. Great tackle there by DeJager. We'll see a ball up.
Phelan's starting to have a bit of an impact on this game, Davo. Just his touches.
So Smith once again socket out of mid-air though by the Park Orchards defender. Up went Heron, and now they're away through. Bahaja gives a quick hands-off. Long kick down the line up towards half-forward, and Mione slipped over, and the boundary line beats all comers. As we tick over 11 minutes on the Eastland scoreboard, Park Orchards 4-6-30, Doncaster East 4-5-29.
They've put the experienced Lukey McLeod down on him now, Mione. He'll certainly know he's played a game of footy against Lukey.
So the umpire tosses the ball back into play. Rucks go out at Stephen, wins a tap down. Clark, long Greg Williams like handball out wide, found Whitling. Now they're away, up towards half forward, bouncing ball. They've got the numbers here though, Park Orchards. Back on the ground it seems is Chappell. Possession down the line wasn't quite up to standard, and now they're in trouble, but he gets it back, Chappell. Little kick along the ground, and now they look to work it out, which is looks to pay off. Now they're going to go inside forward 50 again, the Sharks. Turn around, Dennis, he does, and he takes the mark.
Now there's nothing Trakulja could do about that. Dennis Armfield only coming in for his second touch of the afternoon, so the young man's done a pretty fair job on him so far, even though Dennis is shooting for his second goal.
So Armfield will line up, as you mentioned, Brash, for goal number 2. Probably kick from about 40 metres out, 35, 40 metres out, to increase the Park Orchards lead. Kick looks good off the boot as the rain starts the team down. He's got 2 on the board now, Dennis Armfield. And Park Orchards go to 5-6-36. Doncaster East 4-5-29. Let's go to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yes, more Premier Division scores. Bourne 5-9-39 to Roval 2-2-14. South Croydon 3-2-20 to Norwood, 2 goals straight 12. Montrose and Doncaster quarter time was 1-8 apiece. Division 1, East Ringwood 4-2-26 to Knox 1-3-9. Lilydale 3-4-22 to Montana South, 3 goals straight 18.
Ball coming back to the middle now. just read that better, didn't he?
Yeah.
Dennis Armfield.
Yeah, all his experience. And again, a different setup down there for when they're going in. They're not having that flood anymore, that pushing up high slingshot stuff.
So as Dan mentioned, Chappell back on the ground up against Stephen. Locke can't get clean possession. The Jager with a quick kick out of there, but it's going to fall into the arms of Doncaster East. Locke goes back and gets it. Well ducked under the tackle there by Ceravolo, but he's been pinned on the second attempt, and it's going to be a free kick to Park Orchards as they go to attack. Running straight through the middle and a long kick inside forward 50. Armfield's going to be the first one there. Swings around onto his right boot. Into the goal square. Can he get the goal? No, he can't. He had Christian Fair out in the middle. I'm not sure if he went for him or went for the goals.
Yeah,
but either way, I think it was a 50 cents each way there, Davo.
Yeah, I think exactly what happened. He saw him out of his eye, tried to hit him, but kicked it too far.
There's Simon White now. Goes long to the outer side. Big players form. Gordon can't take the mark. The ball's immediately wrapped up in a good tackle there by Sam Heron. And we're going to have a ball up here. Ball hits the ground. Appleby gets a quick handball out now. Clark dispossessed, but they've still got the ball for the time being, Doncaster East. Looks like someone's been tripped over there, and it's going to be a free kick. And it's going to go the way of Appleby, who hands it out wide. Stephen. Bit of a fake handball inside, gets away now to centre half forward. Oh, terrific mark there by Batsanis, probably the smallest man in that contest. But a great leap, and he's probably just a bit too far out to score, and he believes so. So he gives the handball off to Gold with a long flying shot. It's swinging back, but well done on the line there by Chappell. Able to get a hand on that one. And it's just gone over the line for it behind as we head to Barry Cotts with the score centre.
Yeah, Division 1, Mooroolbark and Upper Finchley Gully 128 to Mooroolbark 117. And in Division 2, it's Heathmont 5-5-35, leading Scoresby 117.
So the umpire's blown his whistle here, and looks like it's going to come back after one. It brought it back into play.
He's got that rule. You've got to bring everybody back behind the player on the mark, including the players in the same side. So
just introduced this year into the Eastern Football League, that rule as well. So perhaps taking a bit of time to adjust to the new rules. But Wynett will go for take two now. Goes long down the middle, looking for Chappell. He's got Stephen to beat, who contests the ball. Trakulia tries to get a fist away. Once again, Stephen belts it out. Mead going to get clean possession, but Turner taken down in the tackle. Umpire called play on. McLeod is in there. The umpire calls for the ball, though. Ball up in the middle of the ground.
Pretty willing, that contest there. Both sides really going hard at it.
So Chappell winning the tap down. Gold. Quick hands off was good to Ayubi. Up towards half forward, though. Mark taken, though, by the Park Orchards defender. And that's Hyde. Goes backwards. Chip across the ground now to Crome at half-back. Marks in front of Daniel Mead.
Always makes me smile when the player asks for the handball back and he goes to kick on the wrong side of his body.
Yeah.
So long driving ball down the line. Fist came from Gold, though, over the top. But the free kick is going to come back. It's going to go the way of Park Orchards to Nicholson. No, Chappell rather to take it. So Smead gets the handball off, drives it long inside forward 50. No one at home, though, for the Sharks. No one presenting. Simon White chops it off.
He was always marking that, wasn't he?
That's the situation he loves the best is Simon White, is when the ball comes in high and long, he will take that needed up every day of the week. So White finds McLeod. And McLeod goes risky kick across the ground to Stephen, and that's going to go out of bounds.
It's just been the difference. A few more times Doncaster East just can't quite hit that fairly easy target as we go to Barry Cotts for the score centre.
Yeah, Division 3, Glen Waverley Hawks 7-8-50, Churnside Park 2-5-17, and Waverley Blues Warrandyte. It's Waverley Blues 5-3-33 to Warrandyte 4-5-29.
So plenty of plays around this contest once again. The ball's going to fall to no one in particular. Not a good enough throw in there, said the field umpire, so the boundary umpire will do it once again. Rain holding off for the time being at the moment. Still very slippery conditions, however. Comes back in now. Stephen with good body use, but it looks like something's happened to his hand there as the ball's dispossessed at ground level. It's going to be a high tackle, and it's going the way of Doncaster East. So it'll be Batsanis with the free kick, who retreats some ground. Now they're able to work their way to the outer side here. The kick just over the top of Ayubi, and once again, Doncaster East just missing their target by about 5 metres, and it's over the line.
Their kicking to position today, Tim, has been poor. They really have not been able to hit a target.
So in once again, it'll be Chappell and Stephen. Stephen over the top with a good fist forward. The Park Orchard still able to gain possession. A great tackle there. Looks like might have been Saravolo, but it's been holding on to... Oh. No, 25-metre penalty. The free kick's gone to Doncaster East.
No, well, I actually thought he was paying the free kick and giving it to Park Orchard.
That's what I thought as well. I thought he was giving it for a hold, but obviously not. And the Park Orchard's player thought the same as us, and in turn has given away the 25-metre penalty. So it's an opportunity now for Doncaster East. Chance to go inside forward 50. It'll be Saravolo. Not too much movement, so he goes out to the pocket. Shalakas in front, and he's taken the uncontested mark almost in the end. Did well to get to the front of the pack.
That was
I think it was good. Sorry, go on, Brush.
That was a courageous mark by Shalakas, because he was the only man going up, and he was actually going backwards as well. So
he did well.
He took it on.
And don't underestimate the work there of Stephen to really hold out that contest and allow Shalakas to come through. So opportunity now for Doncaster East to get back within 1 point. Not too far out, about 25 metres out. Not much angle to speak of. Shalakas comes in and pops it straight through the middle. So Doncaster East get their fifth. They're 5-6-36. Trailing Park Orchards just now by a solitary point, 5-7-37 on the Eastland scoreboard. We've gone just over 20 minutes in this second term. As we go to Score Centre with Barry Cox.
Yeah, let's look at some Division 4 scores. And Fair Park 4-6-30, lead Forest Hill 139. Sylvan 6-9-45, lead Nunawading 117. And Surrey Park and Eastfield at 4-3-27 to Surrey Park 2-1-13.
Well, some intriguing progress scores happening around the grounds, and if you're out at a game, make sure you tweet @FootyEFL as we go back into the middle. Phelan cleanly gets the ball out. Handball out wide was good, and now Doncaster East look to work it up towards half forward. Presenting on that occasion there was Appleby, but Batsanis runs away with it and shanks it. Classic shank.
Pity though, because he did all the hard work there. Beautiful pick up, split the gap.
Out of bounds on the full, and Wynett to take it. Deep in the back pocket. As players fly for the ball, no mark taken. Look to have another go to here, Doncaster East. James Appleby, similar position as before. Phelan, little flick up. Batsanis to the top of the square. They can raffle this one off. And has it gone through for a goal? No, it's touched on the line.
Bad luck, Jack.
And through for a minor score. So Doncaster East. Gee, it's an opportunity gone begging for the Lions, isn't it? They have had 2 goes at it now as we tick over nearly 22 minutes in the second term. 5-7-37 apiece. Ball brought back into play.
He's done some good things, this Clark, in the midfield.
I reckon Park Orchards are looking a little bit ragged at the moment.
So the Lions go back inside forward 50.
Good mark.
At the back though.
They seem to be going up
Brendan
and down the one spot, don't they?
Yeah, they've lost that run that they had.
So Wynett copping a falcon there was Evan Smead at half back, and now Pupican Stanton now puts it inside forward 50 again for the Lions. Bodies fly, no one able to take the mark, just flicked out. And now they'll work things out here, the Sharks. But Whitling has other ideas. Batsanis wrapped up in the tackle. Umpire calls for the ball.
Batsanis and Phelan have been good this quarter. Phelan, his hands over in that pocket before were just exceptional.
So the ball escorted over the boundary line. We're going to have a throw in. Pretty much the same spot that ball up went it, right on the arc, the Doncaster East forward line. Chappell works his way to the front, but it's sharked by Appleby with a quick left foot ball up to the full forward line. Well done there by the the Park Orchards player, I should say, in Price Inglis on his left foot, able to get it up to the half-back line. Oh, good tackle there by James Locke. Umpire calls play on. Chance now for Doncaster East, but they can't quite get their hands on it. Plenty of bodies flying around there. Looks like it might come out. It does now. Prosnak gets it towards the boundary line. I think he'll be very happy to see it. And he escorts it straight over as we go to Barry Cots.
Yes, take a look at some Premier Division. And Ballman 20-minute mark second quarter is 52 over Roval 14. And as well, Surrey Park and Eastfield with 7-7-49 to Surrey Park 2-1-13.
Just that contest there, the last couple of minutes there, Davo. That tackling there by Doncaster East. You're just watching the Park Orchards players get up. They look really weary, didn't they?
They do. It's been a very, very tough contest in close today.
But Doncaster East just starting to get the upper hand a little bit. Good snap out of the pack there by Appleby. It looks like it's going to be holding on, and it's going to be a free kick going the way of Park Orchards. And it's going to be one.
He can't get into the game, Tom Gordon, at the moment.
No, I can't remember him really having a touch at all day. So Wynett with a big left foot ball to the outer side, looking for Chappell, but he's not in the right position there. The ball hits the deck. It's going to be escorted over there by Triculia, and we'll have a throw in where all the play has been for these last couple of minutes.
They're starting to win in the ruck too, Donny East, and getting more of their easier clearance ball.
So the ball tossed back into play. As the rain comes down once again, shoveling a handball out there with the Lions, and now they go again. Doncaster East, Appleby. They work it inside forward 50. Shalakis outstretched on that occasion. We'll see a boundary throw in.
And these are difficult conditions now because the rain's reasonably heavy, and they're starting the ball's really slipping around.
And the sun's come out as well, Davo, just as the rain's coming out.
Beautiful Melbourne day.
Across to Barry Cots in the score centre in just a moment. Chappell wins the tap down. Bahaja went without the footy. And that ball going absolutely nowhere. James Locke wrapping up the Park Orchards defender in the tackle. It's crossed to Barry Cots in the score centre.
Yeah, Premier Division and Montrose and Doncaster. It's Doncaster 3-7-25 trailing Montrose 6-3-39.
Thanks, Barry. Brock McLean with the handball out. Phelan didn't have a lot of time to get rid of it. Armfield was in there. Phelan once again has another crack at it. It's just a game of inches at the moment. Batsanis gets clean possession, kick towards the top of the square in the direction of Tom Gordon. What can he do? Bounces fortuitously into his arms as he goes to the top of the square. Flying ball and gold.
Play on.
Play on, called the umpire. And gee, what a fly that was from gold. Micah Stephen picks it up though and makes no mistake. Lions in front.
Let's go back to our before game predictions. I've got a funny feeling young Mr. Brash said Micah Stevens 3 goals. He's already kicked 2. Oh, you said 5, did you? 4. Oh, he's halfway there.
Well, 6-7-43, Doncaster East leading Park Orchards 5-7-37, 26 and a half gone, second term. Let's cross to Barry Cots in the score centre.
Yeah, Premier Division, Oval Park, North Ringwood 4-4-28, lead Oval Park 3-4-22.
So the rain's starting to fall as heavy as it has all day as we just head towards half time. Can't be long left here in the first half. Good play there by Appleby, shapes to go inside. Now well done at the half-forward line by Locke, picks it up. Not his best effort with the ball, it's just a grubber inside 50. Ceravolo with a long ball inside 50. No mark taken, hits the deck. Players swarm around it. No one can get clean possession. Shalaka's coming through hard. Park Orchards with the numbers now, they're able to clear to the out to this broadcast position wing, but it's not the best kick off the boot. And it gives Doncaster East another chance to set up for another attack. As Triculia with a poor kick and it's intercepted, giving Park Orchards an opportunity, but with the play stopping, they had no numbers in front of the ball, so he just goes a massive barrel onto the top. Can he get it out the back? No one at home though for Park Orchards now. Can Ayubi take it to safety at the boundary line? He does.
Well, that's what
seeing that with the big barrel in the wet.
That's what they played in the first quarter. Played everyone up, go over the top. They tried it again and nearly got a result, but that rain is really coming down hard at the moment.
It is. Geez, they'll be disappointed to let through a goal here, Doncaster East. They've had all the play for the last 10 minutes. They lead by a goal. But Park Orchard's an opportunity now for a late one. Plenty of players around it. It's going to be hard to get one through. Wrapped up in a tackle straight away there is Appleby, but it spills out the back. Well done there by Phelan with good body use, bit of handball over the top. Probably not the best option. Can they take it to the line? They can't. Appleby in there. Looks like he might have copped a higher one. Umpire said no, play on. And we'll have a ball up here. About 60 out from Park Orchard's goal.
You can just see the Doncaster East bigger bodies are having a real influence around the contest, haven't they?
So, ball tossed up once again. McLean takes it to the boundary line. Looked like it might have gone out. Boundary umpire said no. And now it's out on the full as we quickly go to Barry Cotts for a quick score update.
Yeah, half time, Montrose 6-3-39, lead Doncaster 3-7-25.
So Price Inglis with the ball. Plenty of numbers. Looks like Debney wants it long, so he goes in that direction. Looks like it's going to fall out the back. No one can get a clean ball. Debney picks it up now, gets his hands off, only as far as Lock though. Doncaster East able to get the possession through McLean, and now Appleby on his left. Not his best kick though as George on the second bite takes the mark in slippery conditions.
Had to take it though.
He did well. As he goes straight up to centre half forward. Not the best kick though. Can Doncaster East mop it up? Whitling, the left foot ball, it's going to go out wide. Appleby probably happy to take it to the line once again, and he does.
They've defended this well the last couple of minutes, Doncaster East, but again, they don't want to let through one, although there's probably not much time left.
Well, we'll cross to Barry Cotts in the score centre in just a moment, but I've got a score update from Kilsyth and Croydon North Emlock. It is Croydon North Emlock at half-time, leading Kilsyth by 15 points, 24 plays, 39. As they go inside forward, 50 again, the Sharks comes over the top of the pack, and no one able to get clean possession, through for one behind. Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yeah, Premier Division, Vermont 4-4-28 as leading Blackburn 2-4-16.
So just recapping that score out here at Zerby's Reserve, 6-7-43 Doncaster East, 5-8-38 Park Orchards, 5 points the margin, 30 and a half minutes gone in the second term. As White brings it back into play to the far wing. Smith went without the footy and now nobody able to clear it. Clark, looks like he's trying to score a try there. He's all wrapped up and we'll see a ball up on the wing.
Hasn't been many uncontested possessions this game.
Definitely not. As Armfield on hands and knees feeds the handball out, it trickles over the line and out of bounds. 31 minutes gone, second term.
Yeah, definitely not bruise-free football today, is it?
No.
So ball tossed back into play. Chappell versus Smith. Give that one to Chappell there. So the ball just bouncing along the ground, and Appleby of the James variety sees it out of bounds. Let's cross to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yeah, I've got a half-time score, Bourne and also Roeville. It's Bourne 10-5-65 to Roeville 2-3-15 at half-time.
Sure. Surprising result, that one, given the way we talked that one. Talked about that one in the pre-game, gents. But ball back into play now. And Clark swung around in the tackle, and the umpire calls for it again, for a ball up for something different, Tim.
Been plenty of that today, Dan.
So Chappell with the two-hander brings the ball down. Heron brought down in the tackle, half back. Now Tom Appleby driving ball down the wing. Only as far though as Price Inglis. So they go long inside forward 50, the Sharks. Strong mark taken there though by White. Strong jukes, particularly in this sort of conditions. Unfair bounce there to Sitha Ratha.
He's gone.
Armfield looks to gather, he'll snap, and he's got 3. Dennis Armfield makes no mistake. 2 goals for the quarter, and the Sharks are back in front. 6-8-44 Park Orchards. Doncaster East 6-7-43. 1 point the difference. 32 and a half gone second term on the Eastland scoreboard.
That was a great opportunist goal, and I'm glad he kicked it, because I tell you what, 2 of his players made very poor attempts at tackling originally. Then there was a really good tackle made, and he was the person that took the opportunity to kick the goal for it. So Armfield's third. That's pretty good job because he hasn't had a lot of possessions.
He's had three. Three kicks, 3 for the goals.
Might have been a genius coaching move by himself, chucking himself up in the forward line today.
Well, he was running off the half back 2 weeks ago.
That's it. So in the final stages here of this first half, Batsanis gets the ball out the back to Apple Vivid. He's well held up in the tackle. He's got Trakulia though as support from behind the ball, but his kick's intercepted there by Price Inglis, who takes a short option on to DeJager. DeJager, been pretty quiet today. There's a kick up to the half forward line. Oh, it's fallen out the back. Umpire said no, touched off the boot, or touched just before he marked it. And there sounds the halftime siren as, geez, a bit goes on after that. Tracui didn't look too happy, but it's Park Orchards taking a 1-point lead into the halftime break. It's 6-8-44 to Doncaster East, 6-7-43.
Well, looking at the goal kickers, Dennis Armfield has 3 for Park Orchards, as does Alex Mione. While for the Lions, Nick Batsanis has 1. All single goal kickers, Ceravolo, Phelan, and of course Shalakis. As we head to a break here on EFL Game Day. When we come back, halftime scores with Barry Cotts in the Score Centre and a 9 News update with Corey Norris.
Breakfast with Gary.
And you're clear.
You're home, it's KB in the dock.
We'll find out who is the best ruckman after 6 rounds of football.
Well, I still can't believe that you left out Toby Maguire, but I guess you've...
Toby Maguire? Toby Maguire. Wasn't he in the Spider-Man?
In the Spider-Man, yeah, he was too.
Toby Maguire.
Toby Nankervis.
Toby Maguire was never going to get into the best ruckman in the AFL.
For Ace Gutters, Australian made, built to last. And On Deck, small business loans approved in hours. Apply now on deck.com.au.
KB in the dock, back Monday from 3.
Hello, I'm Peter Hitchener. 9 News invites you to join our team nightly at 6 for Melbourne's #1 news. Tony Jones with the latest sport, including the footy, plus Lavinia Nixon's weather forecast. 9 News, proud supporter of the Eastern Football League.
Only 19 shots from 53 inside 50s, down on clearances and can't lay a tackle. What was the seniors coach going to do? Jono surprised himself and everyone else. The spray he gave the boys at halftime worked. Well, he did finish it by saying he'd shout them a post-game feed and frothies at Eastland if they won. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland, proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland, live real.
Wow, there's some great timber colours here.
Yeah, that's right.
There's reds, browns. I think I want a bit of character. Oh, wow, look at all these choices. Oh, there's tulips.
Let's go for the tulips then. They just look gorgeous.
Tobin Brothers Funerals' latest Memory Maker app now gives you more choice than ever before. Select from a wide range of coffins, caskets and floral arrangements, view them in 360 degrees and compare selections and prices.
Hello there.
Tobin Brothers Funerals.
Yes, we're here. Barry
no
speaking.
worries. Oh, Barry, it's Nigel.
Yeah.
I've spoken to Corey, and he's happy for me to call him in about 1.5 minutes from now. So he'll be ready out of the break in theory. So I'll let you know. Yes.
Okay.
We've got 2 minutes into the break end, so he should be ready out of the break. I'll let you know for sure. So if someone can just be sort of keeping an ear on what happens,
right.
But yeah, it should be right. And
yeah, I'll tell Bruce.
I've got to ring him in 1 minute from now.
Okay.
For your local owner operator.
What's that, Daddy?
Oh, this is a DAB Plus digital radio. It's for Mother's Day.
So what are these?
These are Daddy's awesome new headphones.
See? They came free with the radio, but Mum doesn't know.
She does now.
Mum will love a DAB Plus radio. Digital sound, more than 20 extra stations. And with the Pure range, you'll get free Urban Ears wireless headphones worth $150. Worth shouting about. From JB Hi-Fi, Amazon and Myer until May 12.
Walking regularly to school is a great way to exercise. But until they're 10, children must always hold an adult hand when crossing the road. Friday, 17th of May is National Walk Safe.
All right, no, I'll get him ready.
Yep.
Because I can't talk to him down the line once he's on. Yep. I can't talk to him. It's got to, so I've spoken to him already, so he wants me to call him about now. So I'll give him a call now. Yep. And he should be ready straight away out of the break for you.
Okay, thanks, mate.
Facebook, Instagram and Twitter.
Hello, I'm Peter Hitchener. 9 News invites you to join our team nightly at 6 for Melbourne's #1 news. Tony Jones with the latest sport, including the footy, plus Lavinia Nixon's weather forecast. 9 News, proud supporter of the Eastern Football League.
The senior coach has taken the team to Eastland for a post-game feed. If only they had this kind of teamwork on the field. They've just ordered starters to share.
Okay, he's ready to go.
Thanks, mate.
Back. He circled back. Yes! Straight into his pie hole. Yo, beauty! Good form, boys. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland. Proud Bill.
Streaming live and exclusively on the all-new SEN app.
Let's head back and go local for your footy.
You on now?
Yes, welcome back to Zerby's Reserve.
Hang on, just go again. Now.
Yes, welcome back to Zerby's Reserve. The big Division 1 clash between Doncaster East and Park Orchards. It is the Sharks by a point at half-time, 6-8-44 Park Orchards, Doncaster East 6-7-43. Just capping off those goal kickers, Dennis Armfield has 3 goals for the Sharks, as does Alex Mione. All singles for Doncaster East, Batsana, Ceravolo, Phelan, Stephen and Shalakis. But now what we're going to do is we're going to bring you up to speed with all the news across the nation with Corey Norris from 9 News. Welcome, Corey.
Very good evening to you guys. How are you?
We're very well, Corey. What's going on?
Oh, look, we're keeping across these couple of games this afternoon. The one at the MCG, Hawthorn has a 2-point lead over Melbourne midway through the third term, while in Canberra, the Giants have a 22-point lead over St Kilda, which is also midway through that third quarter. Also in 9 News tonight, a 16-year-old boy has died after the ute he was in was hit by a truck near Phillip Island. Just hours earlier, a motorcyclist, can you believe, was killed in a head-on collision with another rider at Shepparton. So not good news this afternoon on the roads. Josh Frydenberg has slammed those responsible for defiling his campaign billboards with Nazi symbols as ignorant cowards. A person has died in an industrial accident at Somerton, and the Defence Force has made a special delivery to little lifesavers in training in Thailand. That's just some of the stories coming up at 9 News at 6 o'clock.
Well, thank you very much, Corey, for joining us here on EFL Game Day on 1377 SEN Plus, and we'll catch up with you again soon.
Enjoy the afternoon, guys.
Corey Norris from 9 News with all the headlines. Well, gents, what do we make of the opening half of footy? Scrappy first quarter. It opened up a bit in that second term with both sides taking more of their opportunities in front of goal.
Yeah, I think the game definitely went up a notch in that second term. We saw a lot of skill errors by players not really under pressure. I'm not really sure the conditions even really played that much of a part, because there were some pretty basic, I guess, kicks, 15-metre kicks that were missing their targets by a long way. But obviously, very greasy conditions underfoot is making it pretty difficult. But we're seeing two sides that I think are two of the premier sides in this competition at the moment, and they're going in very, very hard. We're seeing a lot of the ball, I guess, looking like it's about to get through the packs and through the centre of the ground, but at the last minute, I guess the defences, both sides are holding up pretty well, and I think that's why we're seeing just a 1-point differential at the moment.
Well, just providing our listeners with a bit of context, if they haven't been following the EFL in the last couple of weeks, this is the third week in a row that Park Orchards have found themselves in a close encounter. Could it be third time lucky today? Because we've spoken about that last gasp loss they had to Lilydale, and of course last week they went down to Croydon by just 3 points, and they're finding themselves in a similar position again today. But gee, what an inclusion Alex Mione has been into the team, booting 3 goals for a guy that I suppose on Thursday night wasn't even named in the team.
Yeah, he's been terrific. I think I'm not sure who they put on him in that second term. It might have been McLeod, I believe, because in that first quarter he was finding a lot of space inside that forward 50, and it looks like Steve Buckel decided to make the move after he kicked that first goal in the second term as well. So he's been very lively, but the move's been made now, and McLeod's on him.
Isn't it great to see Dennis Armfield in full flight once again, tearing it up? He's got 3 goals to his name, and just the leg speed he brings is fantastic.
Yeah, I know you'd be liking it, Dan, as a Carlton man. But yeah, he's been terrific, and we've seen him off half back. I know Brash went to the game a couple of weeks ago against Lilydale, which I saw a bit of as well, and he was playing off half back, and I believe that's where he's pretty much played all season. So it was an interesting move that he's gone up forward. Maybe having no Michael Philp up there as well has contributed to that decision, but he's got 3 goals, and he's really providing a very good duo there with Alex Mione.
Yeah, well, you're right, and interestingly enough, Tim, is that we look at Doncaster East, and you look at the way and Park Orchards have played. And it sort of looked there for a moment that Park Orchards were out on their feet. Doncaster East was surging a little bit. They had 20 minutes where they basically took control of the contest, and it looked like that they were going to head into half-time maybe with a couple of goal lead. With Dennis Armfield, where you're talking about the most minimalistic of games, 3 kicks, 3 goals. You don't have to do too much damage, Davo, when you've got quality like that, do you?
No, and look, and one of the things that we have noticed is that, as you said, the game's played in a little bit of some surges, and I admit I thought Park Orchards were just about out on their feet, but the last 5 minutes they actually controlled the game and they looked like they could have scored even more as they were going along.
Yeah, and it's a bit straight because I feel when watching the game, you're seeing a lot of the Doncaster East midfielders getting their hands on the ball around the contest. We're seeing Appleby, Locke, Batsanis all getting their hands on their footy around the contest, but very rarely has it, I guess, turned into a serious opportunity up forward, because I think the pressure on the ball carriers has been terrific from both sides, but Park Orchards especially, I believe. Yeah,
look, they've certainly locked the game down. I thought they started to get a little bit more dominance in the ruck. They fed those smalls quite well, but they just weren't able to be clean enough. And when they brought the ball forward, I thought Donny East started to look a little bit more dangerous in that quarter. But they got to that end contest and they just were a little bit clumsy with their finishing, whereas I didn't think Park Orchards were as clean going forward as they were in the first quarter.
Well, let's cross to Barry Cotts in the Score Centre with some halftime score updates.
Yes, we certainly can do that. So let's start off with Premier Division, and firstly to the big game, Vermont and Blackburn, and it's a very close game indeed. Vermont 5-4-34 lead Blackburn 3-6-24, coming up to half-time there. Roval and Balwyn 10-5-65 to Roval 2-3-15.
Didn't pick that one.
Yep. And last score, South Court 3-2-20 to Norwood, 2 goals straight 12. Should be able to get a score update shortly. Montrose and Doncaster trailing Montrose 6-3-39 to Doncaster 3-7-25 in Premier Division. Division 1, Knox and East Ringwood. It's East Ringwood 7-3-45 ahead of Knox 5-5-35. Lilydale and Wanturna South. Lilydale 3-4-22 to Wanturna South, 3 goals straight 12. And also in Murrelbark and Upper Ferntree Gully, and it's Upper Ferntree Gully just ahead of half time, 4-5-29 to Murrelbark 3-1-19. And Mulgrave and Mitcham, interesting game, and it's Mitcham ahead 5-5-35 to Mulgrave 3-3-21 at this stage. Boronia and Ringwood. Ringwood 3-2-20 to Boronia 1-2-8. Heathmont 6-6-42 to Scoresby 2-1-13. In Division 3, Donvale and Ferntree Gully. And it's Ferntree Gully just ahead, 2-3-15 to Donvale 2-2-14. South Belgrave 10-7-67, well ahead of Whitehorse Pioneers 1-1-7. Waverley Blues 8-3-51 to Warrandyte 5-6-36. Glen Whaley Hawks 8-8-56 to Churnside Park 3-6-24 in Division 3. To Division 4 and Kilsyth and Croydon North Emlock. And you are right, Dan. Croydon Emlock ahead, 4-1-25 to Kilsyth, 3-6-24. A difference of 1 point, but they are ahead. And as well as that, Surrey Park and East Burwood. East Burwood doing it well, 8-8-56 to Surrey Park, 2-1-13. And if you're wondering about Coldstream this afternoon, this week they have the bye in Division 4. Back to you.
Thanks for that, Barry. All the scores in the Score Centre. And, of course, if you are out of the game, make sure you tweet in @FootyEFL and bring us up to date with all the latest scores. But, gents, rain absolutely teeming down here at Zerby's Reserve just for something different. Does this alter the third term? It was dry in the second term, which opened the play up a bit.
It did, but I don't think it'll change too much. I think you'll find it'll be a heavily contested contest again. Whatever team can get the ball out and use it the best will have the greatest opportunity. But You do hope that the rain does stop, because we do want to see the ball get moved around a little bit better than what it was, but it's a little bit hard to pick who's going to win this one. You'd think Doncaster East should, because of their quality of their players and their body size and their experience, but I don't know. Park Orchards are doing a great job at the moment.
Well, we're going to head to a break here on EFL Game Day. You're listening to 1377 SEN+.
Wait.
Yeah, 4 minutes.
Breakfast with Gary Lyon and Tim Watson.
Sam Newman. A lot of people want to know whether you get on with Scotty.
He rang me up today. He said, "Hey, listen." "Yes, Don." "Don't shout, mate." "What? I said, "Don't shout." He said, "Why?" I said, "What do you want?" He said, "How much water do you drink?" "Why?" He said, "Well, I'm not sure how much I should drink."
From Melbourne Airport Long-Term Car Park, $99 for 7 days. And Vaughan Constructions, Victorian Master Builder of the Year. Breakfast with Gary Lyon and Tim Watson. Back Monday morning from 6.
Hello, I'm Peter Hitchener. 9 News invites you to join our team nightly at 6 for Melbourne's #1 news. Tony Jones with the latest sport, including the footy, plus Lavinia Nixon's weather forecast. 9 News, proud supporter of the Eastern Football League.
You've all been to funerals of family members or friends, right? Do you start thinking about what you would want at your funeral? It's a bit like when you go to a wedding.
That's right.
At what stage do you start planning?
Have an open and honest conversation with your loved ones. Celebrate your life the way you want, like I did with a fixed price funeral plan from Tobin Brothers Funerals. The price doesn't change and your life will be celebrated your way. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Only 19 shots from 53 inside 50s, down on clearances and can't lay a tackle. What was the seniors coach going to do? Jono surprised himself and everyone else. The spray he gave the boys at halftime worked. Well, he did finish it by saying he'd shout them a post-game feed and frothies at Eastland if they won. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland, proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland, live real.
Hello, I'm Emily for the Family Peace Foundation. It was my birthday last week. Mum asked me what I wanted for a present. I told her I just wanted one thing. For her and Dad to show me how much they love each other. For just one day to show me how much they care for each other. Guess what? They gave me the best birthday present I've ever had. Family Peace. Do it for your kids.
If you're the guy whose job it is to order timber to the site, here's a fail-safe guide to not getting yourself fired. Step 1. Use Coldstream Timber. Step 2. See Step 1. When you use Coldstream Timber, you'll never run out of timber, because whatever you're building, Coldstream Timber and Hardware can organise same-day delivery of timber, framing, doors, decking, hardware, insulation, flooring and more. You'll never run out of timber with Coldstream Timber and Hardware. Maroondah Highway Coldstream. Coldstreamtimber.com.au. Conditions apply.
Winter's coming and prices plummet during Tyre Power's big free sale. Get the power to save on Kumho tyres at Tyre Power. Simply buy 3 and we'll give you 1 free on a great range of Kumho passenger car and SUV tyres. That's right, buy 3 and get 1 free on selected Kumho tyres at Tyre Power. Conditions apply. See website for details. Tyre Power's big free sale is now on.
1 minute.
$21.91 for your local owner operator.
Hello, I'm Peter Hitchener. 9 News invites you to join our team nightly at 6 for Melbourne's #1 news. Tony Jones with the latest sport, including the footy, plus Lavinia Nixon's weather forecast. 9 News, proud supporter of the Eastern Football League.
The only thing I would think about is who I'd be buried next to. I mean, that would...
30 seconds.
Because you'll need to get the plots next to each other.
Yeah, that's true. They're good conversations to have, aren't they? Because they give you a reference point if you've had no clear instruction or conversation.
Have an open and honest conversation. Celebrate your life the way you want, like I did, with a fixed price funeral plan from Tobin Brothers Funerals. The price doesn't change and your life will be celebrated your way. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
The Kids Edition with Daisy Pearce returns Sunday morning from 8 on it.
Here we go.
Head back and go local for your footy.
Go.
Yes, welcome back to Zerby's Reserve as we just start the third term, and it is Park Orchard 6-8-44 leading Doncaster East 6-7-43 as the Lions bring the ball back in from an out of bounds on the full, and they find themselves deep in the back pocket. So they look to wrestle back the lead. Long kick goes down the line up towards half-back. Strong Duke's taken there. Smith, the ruckman, in front of Chappell, gives the hands off to Whitling as they work it down the wing, the Lions, up towards half-forward. Went without it there, was right. Ball just slipped through his hands. Slippery conditions. Micah Stephen, kick around the corner, landed in the arms of George, though, who repels. Chappell now, brought down in the tackle there by Gold. Sharks have got plenty of numbers, but coming through there was Tom Appleby, and they look to win out here through Whitling, the Lions. They go inside forward 50. Robert Chesto, the Park Orchards defender, in Wynett, and will they make them pay, the Lions? High up and under kick, up towards the top of the square. No one able to take the mark. Batsanis was beaten, but it's gone through. And Batsanis has in fact kicked the goal. And the Lions are back in front, 7-7-49. Park Orchard 6-8-44. It actually looked like from this angle that it had been kicked out by the Park Orchard's defender, and it was trickling towards the line, but it snuck home for a goal. 5 points the margin in favour of the Lions.
Well, they look like they pushed there for a couple of minutes there, Doncaster East, and they weren't to be denied then.
That was actually a drop kick.
Yeah.
He actually kicked that drop kick goal, so that's his third, I think. He's been very good down forward.
That it is. I think it's his second, sorry.
So we restart play back in the middle. Ball coming out to the wing now. Ball trapped there by Ceravolo. Can't get through. Smith trying to force his way through. Gets the handball out in the end to Phelan. Batsanis, who's the goal kicker from just before, can't get a clean ball. And it's out of play. Ball done there by Wright, coming in off the back line.
Tell you what, young Smith's been good in the ruck, hasn't he? He's really impacted with his body size.
So Chappell makes his way to the front. Well done there by Smead, getting the ball out. Now a quick kick from Turner up to half forward. They've got the numbers though. Doncaster Race through Tricula, but in a perfect position. There is Nicholson, been quiet today, and that kick isn't his best either, and it's just to the left, and it's only one behind. Trail by 4 points.
The time that he took to look left or right to see if he had an option was the time that it took for them to tackle him. If he just kicked it, he may have been able to steady and goal.
Well, he had a time straight away, and he was probably in range as well. As soon as he got the ball, could have skidded on with the greasy conditions. Nevertheless, just the one behind is White. Takes the short option there. And Sitherather, who goes up looking for Appleby. Good hands. Batsanis running past, decides not to give it, but now goes in the middle. Finds Phelan. Has the short option, decides to go longer. Lock there in the one-on-one with Price Inglis. He leads him to the ball on the boundary line. Swings back onto his right with his handball over to Appleby. Appleby looking for the top of the square, looking for Shalakas. Good fist over the top there by George. Park Orchard's able to clear for the time being. Debney, good body use, but White makes his way through, giving it off to Whitling. A high up and under ball into the pocket. Shalakas from the side, can't mark it. It's been well sharked here, and Park Orchard's able to clear. Got a bit of space now through Smead. Turns inside. Good right foot ball. Nicholson can't mark. Quick soccer off the ground there by Prosenak. Could work out well. Unfortunately there for Mione, he can't handle it. And the ball's been wrapped up in a tackle now, and we're going to have a bounce, or a throw up I should say. About 55 out from the Park Orchards goals. Smith first hands on it, a good tap out the back to Appleby. Uses Brock McLean on the outside. His right foot ball up to half forward, works out well. Sam Gold can turn quickly. Looking for James Locke. He's got a bit of space on his opponent there, but Price Inglis closes well and wins the ball at ground level. And we're going to have a ball up here.
That's a great contest then, and well played by Price Inglis.
He was.
Young Mione will just learn a few things from today's game. One of them, don't go to ground too early.
So ball up, but the Sharks clear out of defensive 50. Great mark taken there by the Sharks as they get on the move now. A bounce taken, 2 bounces. As just socket out of mid-air. Nobody at home though. Tricula will take the mark at full back.
Jeez, they're lucky it didn't fall about 5 metres shorter there.
So Tricula moves it on towards half back. Work down the wing. That wasn't the best kick there from Appleby. And the Sharks win it straight back.
Park Orchard's player just down there.
Looks like to be Prosenac, I think.
So Prosenac sends it inside forward 50, but the Sharks send it straight back out. Bouncing ball, and now they've got a few numbers here, the Sharks. Jacatine, look away handball. Ran his teammate into a fair bit of pressure, and the ball all wrapped up on centre wing.
He's up now, Prosenac.
Yeah, and young Chappell for Park Orchards, a bit all over the place today. I think that knock he took earlier has really taken the wind out of him.
So Phelan taken down in the tackle by Turner. Shovelled out beautifully though. Bahaja, unlucky bounce. Appleby wrapped up in the tackle, or slammed down in the tackle. And the umpire calls for the ball once again. So the score 7-7-49 Doncaster East. Park Orchard 6-9-45. 6.5 gone on the Eastland scoreboard. Third term. Batsanis came bursting through. Smith couldn't quite take it. Rather that was Appleby of the James variety. And the free kick has come out. And it's going to go the way of Park Orchards. Bahaja to take it.
Tell you what, that was tough in there. There was some very tough tackles and in that last bit of play.
So Bahaja, short ship pass off, shocking kick. Ceravolo cuts it off.
The fatigue factor is coming into this game very early, I feel.
So Ceravolo opens it up a bit, finds White on the outer wing. Goes down the line, Phelan. Looks inboard now. Finds Appleby, who moves it straight direct inside forward 50. Stephen contested for the footy, went with one arm, couldn't quite take it. And now in the pocket, Mead just trying to pick up a very wet footy at the moment. Shalakis sees it over the line and out of bounds.
There's going to be some tired boys at the end of this game. The Ice Baths are going to get a thorough working over this weekend.
Well, we haven't had this sort of weather.
No, we haven't.
So that's been the difference. You know, these conditions are really tough to play footy in.
So ball toss back into play. Stephen takes it out of the ruck, snap around the corner.
Oh, bad luck, Nick.
And through for a minor score, 7-8-50 Doncaster East. Park Orchard 6-9-45, 8 minutes gone, third term on the Eastland scoreboard. Let's go to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yeah, let's check some half-time scores. Premier Division, Vermont 41 to Blackburn 24. And Roval and Vaughan 65, Roval 15.
So it'll be Wynett taking the kicking and duties for Park Orchards to the outer side. No mark taken. Mead coming through there, can't handle it, and the ball will be just trickled over for a boundary throw in right on the arc. So we go back to Barry again.
Yep, checking some more Premier League. Noble Park 22 to North Ringwood 28, South Croydon 22 to Norwood 20, and Montrose and Doncaster. Montrose 39 to Doncaster 25.
So as the ruckmen go at it once again, but we're going to have a secondary stoppage here. Still on the arc, about 55 out from the Doncaster East goals. Coming through there was Clark. He's tackled immediately. Able to get the ball forward. Comes out, well done there by Ceravolo. Tacked it hard, got the ball through. It's back to Clark. Now Appleby wrapped up in a strong tackle. And it's going to be, the tackler there is going to be rewarded. Looks like to be Sam Heron of half-back there for Park Orchards. His right comes past for the handball. Gives it to him. Now out wide. Haid up the line. It's a good kick. The umpire's going to pay the mark, I believe. He is. So they're going to get a chance to attack now, Park Orchards. Not much on offer, so he has to just go long up the line. Stephen from the side. Can't take it. Park Orchards with the numbers at ground level. Good kick there by Berger, I should say. Quick kick there from Mione, who's been prominent early. Kind of gone out of the game a little bit. A couple of mistakes going to ground level, as Davo said, but he's still been very good, but unable to get a goal there. It's just trickled through for a behind.
Doncaster East flooded back extremely well then. Made it very hard for Park Orchards to get any flow.
So White plays on. Just looking for meterage at this point in time. Roosting kick out wide to the wing. Brock McLean wrapped up in the tackle there, dispossessed. George now puts on the afterburner, sets it up at centre half forward. Brought in on the second bite there by Bahaja. And Bahaja wheels around, wastes no time, puts it inside up towards the pocket. Smead, what can he do? Just feeds a handball out there to Mione. Centering kick, though chopped off though by the Doncaster East defence. Papakan Stanta now. And they move it on through Whitling off half back. So Whitling's kick towards the wing, taken there by Wright. Right, little kick over the top. Once again, the Sharks just move their way forward. Doncaster East got plenty of numbers here. Ayubi slams it on the boot. Up towards the wing, the ruckman, unlucky bounce for him as the Sharks have to work things out. Bahaja brought down in the tackle there by Shalakis. Rather, that was Hyde. And we'll see it ball up on the wing, right in front of the Park Orchards coach's box.
Well, both teams have got players flooding back into defence, so they kick the ball in there. They're just a maze of other opposition players.
Lock kick around the corner. Inventive looking one, was looking for Smith, but seen over the boundary line and out of bounds.
You'd almost think a 3-goal lead here is going to be a pretty hard lead to get back.
You'd nearly go 2-goal, the way it is.
Well, nearly 12 minutes gone in the third term. It's Doncaster East leading by 4 points, 7-8-50 to 6-10-46 on the Eastland scoreboard as the ball's tossed back into play. Chappell wins the tap down. Whitling was dispossessed. Chappell once again just tunnel balls it out the back and now hacked off the ground there by Phelan. Bouncing ball has gone out of bounds. Let's cross to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yeah, Division 1 scores and East Ringwood 46 to Knox 35. Doncaster, Lilydale 22 to One Turner South 18. Mirrabbark 19 to Adventure Gully 29.
So ball tossed in right underneath the scoreboard here at Zerby's Reserve. No ruckman able to get an advantageous tap out. Brock McLean's all over the Park Orchards defender there. And we'll see a ball up.
This is a dangerous place for Park Orchards. Donny East could get one here.
Smith's tap over the top though, but the Park Orchards defenders look to work it out. Mead with a clever fist over the top, but Armfield mops up at half back. Little drop punt over the top. Looking for a teammate there in Crone, but the Lions have got plenty of support. Mead once again, bursting through there on that occasion was Fasan courageously. And he's won himself the free kick.
Well done there by Fasan.
So Fasan wheels around, wastes no time as they go forward again. Kicks to a contest, and there's been another whistle here for holding. Which way is the free kick going to go? It's going to go the way of Doncaster East, and Simon White to take it.
Just experience there in the contest, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
So Simon White just waits up his best option. Not a lot to kick to, so he'll pop it up down the line to a contest. Big fly from behind by Gold, but now Price Inglis kick around the corner. Was a good one to Fasan, but still unable to take possession. He's battling again for Fasan. He's been prominent this quarter. Slammed down in the tackle though by Lothar. And the umpire calls for the ball. So Rucks go at it once again. Chappell wins it down to Bahaja, but Appleby just hacks it out, looking for Brock McLean. Fly over the back there again by Gold. Appleby, Gold put on an inventive bump, was a clever one in the end, but shoveled towards the boundary line. Batsanis finds himself at the bottom of that crunch, and we'll see a boundary throw in, a bit going on as well. 14 minutes gone, third term. Doncaster East 7-8-50, Park Orchard 6-10-46. 4 points the margin on the Eastland scoreboard as the ball's tossed back into play. Chappell palms it down. Mead lost it. Prozenak once again. Kick touched off the boot, and that's gone out.
No, it's on the full.
On the full. Sounded like it was touched.
Downfield free kick.
But it's a downfield free kick. It's going to go the way of Connor Hickey. So Connor Hickey wastes no time, pops it up towards Dennis Armfield at half forward. Brought down by Seth Aratha. Simon White under a fair bit of pressure now, finds the boundary line. And we'll have a throw in just outside 50. Doncaster East 7-8-50, Park Orchard 6-10-46. 15 minutes gone, third term on the Eastland scoreboard.
So let's see what Park Orchards can make of this. Ball at their half forward line. Stephen up uncontested, brought down straight away. Under there is Batsanis, can't get his hand on ball. The Jager can't get through. Park Orchards now with a chance to go inside 50. Good kick up into the forward pocket, but well done there by Simon White, who can now switch to the outer side. He's got Whitling out there, who can kick up to the wing. Bit of a foot race on here. They've got the numbers, Doncaster East. Shalakis, good kick downfield. Knocked over as he kicked. Going to ground there was Tom Gordon, who's been very quiet. Well held there by Croom. Looks like it's going to be a free kick for holding, and it's going the way of Campbell Croom.
That was poor from Gordon because they were away. They were going to run into an open goal there.
He's had a dirty day, Tommy.
So Park Orchards look like they're going to bring it onto this broadcast wing where they had the numbers, but instead they've gone out towards the scoreboard side. And well done there by James Appleby.
Well, that was one of those ones where he's kicked the ball and is it 10, is it 15 metres? Let him go, not made him play on from the goal line, and then had to turn around and kick it outside to just Donny East players.
So James Appleby now with an opportunity. Going to be right on his distance, I think. He's given it a very good roost though, and it's through. He extends Doncaster East lead to 10 points with his first for the day. Doncaster East leading 8-8-56. Park Orchard 6-10-46 in the Eastland scoreboard. We've gone 16.5 in this third quarter. And it's fair to say they're going to be pretty disappointed with that Park Orchards because they should have been out as we head to Barry Clots with some scores.
Yeah, let's look at Division 2. Mitcham 35 to Mulgrave 17. Ringwood 20 to Baronia 9. And Heathmont 42 to Scoresby 13. Division 3, Donvale 14 to Prince Gully, who was leading 15. South Belgrave 67 to Wilders Pioneers 7. Waverley Blues 52 to Warrandyte 36. Ben Waverley 62 to Churnside Park 25.
Thanks, Barry. As we receive some more scores, Ray Baird's around the grounds. Kilsyth 8-11-59 leading Croydon North Emlock 8-5-53 at three-quarter time out there at Pink's Reserve. So an intriguing final term coming up. You can hear all about that one from Ray in the post-game show with Damien Watson. Make sure you tune into that on 1377 SEN+. Batsanis leads the race for the footy, slams it on the boot, and it clean bowls all comers and rolls over the line and out of bounds for a throw-in. 17.5 gone, third term, 8-8-56 Doncaster East, 6-10-46 Park Orchards, 10 points the margin in favour of the Lions.
Batsanis' work this quarter has been enormous around the contest.
So the ball tossed back into play. Chappell, Gordon, clever handball out, finds Whitling. Hurried shot though, goes over the line and out of bounds. Not sure what he was intending there.
They'd actually be happy with that out of bounds there. They still get a 50-50 contest here.
We'll head to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yeah, Division 4, Forest Hill 38, Fair Park leading 47. Croydon North, you said the score before, and Nunawanning 71, Sylvan 71 to Nunawanning 32.
Thanks, Barry. As it's a hotly contested ball. Tom Gordon at the bottom of the pack. And that's going nowhere, so call for a ball up. Inside 50 for the Lions. Dangerous area for Park Orchards. The next one you'd think.
They're really pushing for this one, Doncaster East.
So ball pumped down, Appleby lost it. Batsanis feeds a handball out to Phelan, who goes on the right. Snap around the corner, has missed. And gee, that would have been a handy one for Doncaster East, but they edge out to an 11-point lead, 8-9-57. Park Orchards 6-10-46, 19 minutes gone on the Eastland scoreboard.
They need the next goal, Park Orchards. They really do need it, just to bring them back into it mentally, because at the moment, Donny East are all over them. They're just swarming them.
So Price Inglis do the honours of kicking it in for the Sharks. Waste no time, plays on, goes long, and there's been a free for holding, and it's going to go the way of Chappell. So players just streaming down the ground. Chappell puts a high up and under kick up towards half forward. Who's at the front? No one able to take the mark. And the Sharks just, as you say, Dave, need the next goal desperately. But they've got numbers out the back here. Doncaster East, Sitharatha slipped over, lost possession of the footy, and they edge ever closer to goal, Park Orchards. But Batsanis battling hard now at ground level. 2-on-1 situation. Trakulia beautifully done. Phelan at half back, chips over the
Lovely
top.
kick.
Finds Gordon at centre half back. And well worked out by the Lions. Gordon, bit of a miss kick, put his teammate under a fair bit of pressure. Shalakis. And that's a shocking kick, just touched and smothered there by Crome. And Shalakis has a second shot at it, but was he taken high? He was.
He made up for it then.
So Shalakis kicks down the line, finds Phelan in front of Chappell.
Tell you what, this bloke,
he can play.
He is a smooth mover and just about uses it well every time he gets it.
Comes across from the waffle on huge wraps. There's Chris Phelan.
I can see why.
And Phelan drives it down towards half forward. Finds Smith, the ruckman. Smith, chip over the top, finds Brock McLean. Uncontested grab.
was a perfect kick. He let McLean come to exactly where he wanted it.
And he got that nice little chop out there, McLean, just in that last couple of minutes.
So McLean gives the handball off to Gold, who fumbles. Has plenty of time, though, to make up for it. Whitling slams it on the boot, sets sail for home. He's kicked the goal. That's his first, Jake Whitling. And it's going to be very tough for Park Orchards from here as Doncaster East go to 9-9-63. Park Orchards 6-10-46, 17 points the margin, 21 and a half gone, third term on the Eastland scoreboard.
They're going to be really disappointed with that Park Orchards. When there's a player having a shot from about 50 out, they have enough time to give the handball off, fumble, hit the ground, give it to someone else who then has time to get onto his left and kick the goal pretty uncontested from 50 metres out.
And that's what Dennis would tell him at three-quarter time. It was just disappointing, expecting something to happen and not covering all the other options.
So be the two backup ruckman here in Debney and Stephen going at it. Stephen getting a quick knock on forward. Locke can't handle it. There's about 3 Park Orchards players in there. Smead gets a high up and under kick. The contest forms. Good fist out there from Clark. Players run onto it. Looks like he was tackled without the ball there, Connor Hickey. The play on is the call. No player able to pick it up cleanly. Going in there well was Turner, who's wrapped up immediately, and we're going to have a stoppage.
That's been the difference the last 15 minutes is Park Orchards have just fumbled a little bit, whereas Donny East have been a fraction cleaner.
The ball tossed up once again. Park Orchards able to just knock it forward. Chance now. Ball done there by Heron. A poor handball though, but till time for Bahaja to pick the ball up. Handball off now. It's going in deep inside for a goal. No, it's not. It's across the face, but ball still in play. Still dangerous. Interesting soccer opportunity there from... It was Nicholson. Ball still in dispute.
Gee, that was ambitious.
Chance for Park Orchards. On ground level there was Haid. Decided to jump on the footy instead of keeping his feet, which Davo's spoken about a bit today. And we're going to have a ball up as we quickly go to Barry Cotts.
Yeah, quick Division 4 score. Eastbill at 8-8-56 to Surrey Park 2-1-13.
Locke can't get through. Debney with the ball. Strong tackle laid on him. Appleby just knocking it towards the boundary. Park Orchards player there.
He should have let it go.
He should have let it go because he knocked it straight towards the boundary. He had no other intention. Been interesting to see what the umpire would have paid. Nevertheless, it's going to be a throw-in on the arc. Park Orchards half-forward line. They desperately need a goal here. They're 17 points down. Haid with an opportunity. He's tackled immediately by Shalakis. Good tackle there by Shalakis. That's what you want to see your forwards do. Laying tackles. He's getting up the ground. Handball off now to Locke. They can work the ball to half-forward line. Batsanis on the lead. Can't take it. And it's going to be escorted over by Price Inglis.
Interesting update coming through on the Twitter feed from Aaron Hurl that Vermont leading Blackburn by 47 points.
Whoa.
Time on in the third term.
Whoa.
That's another bit of a blowout there in the Premier Division today by 2 top sides. Appleby taken down in the tackle. Locke with a quick left foot ball. Up looking for Shalakis. Steps inside one. Gives the handball off to Gordon, who's been quiet today. But that doesn't stop him kicking the goal. No, touched off the boot. Oh, just that sums up his day, doesn't it, Davo?
Certainly does, but I tell you what, Shalakis has been good the last probably 7 or 8 minutes. A number of his really heavy contests, worked well up and down the ground, played across half-back and then fed it out half-forward.
And James Locke's getting his hands on the ball as well in that midfield.
So Price Inglis with plenty of time brings it back into play, then sends it straight back out on the full. Simon White to take the free kick.
That's the 3rd time they've kicked it out on the full from a kick-in that exact spot today.
So just outside 50, the Lions. Wouldn't they love another one before three-quarter time? As we approach 25 minutes in the third, Tom Gordon outstretched on that occasion. And we'll see a throw-in inside 50 for the Lions. 9-10-64. Park Orchard 6-10-46. 25 gone, third term on the Eastland scoreboard.
He had that look on his face of, oh, it's just not my day.
When he was lying on the ground, you could just tell. So ball toss back into play. Shalakis to Brock McLean, who snaps around the corner and kicks the goal. It's going to be tough for the Sharks here as Doncaster East go to 10-10-70. Park Orchard 6-10-46. Leads out to 24 points, 25 and a half gone, third term on the Eastland scoreboard.
That man Shalakis again, very, very good at the contest. Nice hands, and that was just a clever kick from Brock McLean. And you can see the experience. They're just wearing him down at the moment. Yep. And And Park Orchards, well, they need to kick one. If they've got much time, they've got to kick one before 3/4 time.
Just a bit more composure, I believe, in the contest at the moment as we go for a quick score update with Barry Cotts.
Yeah, 3/4 time, Division 1, Montrose 6-4-40 leading Doncaster at 7-13-55.
So a chance now for Bahaja. His right foot kicks a bit of a grubber to centre half forward. Armfield now with an opportunity, but he's tackled straight away. Umpire said he got his hands. Oh, very high tackle there on James Locke. Umpire says he's going to have none of that. Long ball inside forward, 50. No mark taken at the back, a quick snap. But it's going to be a behind.
They really needed that one. It wasn't that hard. He had an opportunity and it would have been against the runner play.
When you're 4 goals down, wet conditions, 26 minutes into the 3rd quarter, they're the opportunities you really have to take. Barry Cotts with some scores.
Yeah, quickly, 3/4 time, Bayswater 6-10-46 to Croydon 6-9-45.
So it'll be Simon White kicking duties for Doncaster East. He goes with a long ball. They've got some numbers on this outer wing here, Doncaster East, if they can pick it up cleanly. The bounce eludes all comers though, and it's going to be over for a boundary throw-in. Very lucky there, Park Orchards. They had about 4-on-1 on that outer side.
Interesting score update from the Vermont game. 12-6-78 Vermont leading Blackburn 3-7-25. Nearing 3/4 time. Ryan Mullett reportedly turning back the clock as well.
Oh, is he? How wonderful for him.
Can he come and work my clock?
So Brush looks a very happy man over to my left. There's Park Orchards. Can they get a goal here against the runner play? They desperately need one. Good tackle. And it's going to cause a turnover here as Debney with a quick kick inside forward 50. It's 2-on-1. Oh, strong tackle. Can they get through here, Park Orchards? They get a chance here through Prozenak on the left foot, but it's just going to miss. Having a couple of opportunities late here in this 3rd, but they can't quite find the big sticks. So they trail by 22 points. It's 10-10-70 to 6-12-48 here on the Eastland scoreboard. So we head into the dying stages of this 3rd quarter. Good mark there by Rami Ayubi.
I think it's that feeling.
It is a Ubi.
It is a Ubi. Well called, Tim.
Can't mistake a rig like that, Brash.
Good stalwart here of the Doncaster East Football Club as he heads up towards half forward. Well done there by Bryce Inglis. Gets a quick kick up to the wing. He's going to have to beat Stephen, who knocks it inside. They have a chance now, Doncaster East. The quick switch on. Brock McLean's got a bit of space. It's going to be a foot race, but I think the boundary line is going to beat all comers. It does. Yes, it does. Good chance there for Doncaster East, but couldn't quite hit the target on the switch.
Let's head to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yeah, East Ringwood 12-7-79 to Knox 7-6-48, and Heathorn 3/4 time, and it's Heathorn 39-87 to Scoresby 2-2-14.
Palm down by Smith in the ruck, then taken away there by Gold. Wobbling kick inside forward 50. Bursting through there was the Park Orchards defender. Micah Stephen just sells a bit of candy, turns around, loose handball, finds Shalakis. Shalakis up to Whitling from a similar position as a moment ago, and he kicks his 2nd goal. Jake Whitling, 2 telling goals this quarter for Doncaster East, and they go to 11-10-76, leading Park Orchards 6-12-48. 29 minutes gone, 3rd term on the Eastland scoreboard.
And it's the same players again. Shalakis, excellent. I think that's 4 goal involvements he's had this quarter.
Well, let's head to Barry Cotts for those all-important scores.
Yeah, Premier Division, it's 3/4 time, and Baldwin 12-9-81 lead Roeville 4-6-30.
Huge upset brewing there. Definitely did not pick that one. Baldwin, though, on top of Roeville well and truly. And as we find ourselves back in the middle, Rucks go at it. Smith with the tap down. Appleby bursting through. Wobbling kick inside forward 50. Nearly hits Shalakis on the chest, but steals it away. He'll stroll into an open goal. Jack Shalakis. Goal number 2, and Doncaster East 12-10-82 leading Park Orchard 6-12-48. 30 minutes gone, 3rd term on the Eastland scoreboard. Brash?
He's putting up his hand for best on the ground here, Jack Shalakis. He's just doing everything, isn't he, Dovo?
Well, this quarter's been outstanding, hasn't it?
But he was good early on.
He was good early on. I still... I must admit, the bloke I've been really impressed with today, even though it's not that he's not a good footballer, but Simon White has been exceptional down defence. He's not made a single mistake. He's been that good.
Well, not to blow my own trumpet, but I picked him at the start of the game, Dave.
I hear da-da-da-da.
They look tired, Park
Well, it's
Orchards
probably going to figure very prominently in our votes, Dan.
Certainly in contention for the Eastland Player of the Day. As we're back in the middle, Daniel Mead wraps up his Park Orchards adversary in a tackle. Umpire calls for the ball again.
But you can just...
And that marks three-quarter time here at Zerby's Reserve. It's Doncaster East, 12-10-82. Park Orchard, 6-12-48, with a lot of work to do in the final term. We're going to take a break here on EFL Game Day. You're listening to 1377 SEN+.
Breakfast with
Clear, 4-minute break.
Thanks, Nigel.
Hello, I'm Peter Hitchener. 9 News invites you to join our team nightly at 6 for Melbourne's #1 news. Tony Jones with the latest sport, including the footy, plus Lavinia Nixon's weather forecast. 9 News, proud supporter of the Eastern Football League.
Wow, there's some great timber colours here.
Yeah, that's right.
There's reds, browns. I think I want a bit of character. Oh, wow, look at all these choices. Oh, there's tulips.
Let's go for the tulips then. They just look gorgeous.
Tobin Brothers Funerals' latest Memory Maker app now gives you more choice than ever before. Select from a wide range of coffins, caskets and floral arrangements, view them in 360 degrees and compare selections and prices. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
The senior coach has taken the team to Eastland for a post-game feed. If only they had this kind of teamwork on the field. They've just ordered starters to share, plus frothies for the whole table. And now Steve-O's chucked a prawn to Macca. He's circled back. Yes! Straight into his pie hole. Yo, beauty! Good form, boys. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland, proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland, live real.
Winter's coming and prices plummet during Tyre Power's big free sale. Get the power to save on Kumo tyres at Tyre Power. Simply buy 3 and we'll give you 1 free on a great range of Kumo passenger car and SUV tyres. That's right, buy 3 and get 1 free on selected Kumo tyres at Tyre Power. Conditions apply. See website for details. Tyre Power's big free sale is now on. Visit tyrepower.com.au or call 13 21 91 for your local owner operator.
You can't get a Rolex for $100, and there's no way you'd get a brand new Ferrari for a couple of grand. We all know you get what you pay for. The same is true with pressure cleaners. Cheap foreign imports lack reliable muscle, but Spitwater pressure cleaners are strong, powerful, and built to last. So avoid the fakes and get a pressure cleaner that's Aussie made for tough Aussie conditions. Get a Spitwater. Call 1300 Spitwater or see spitwater.com.au. Spitwater. That's what it does.
Hey guys, look, I'm sorry to do this to you, but I'm leaving the flat. You're like family to me, and if I could stay here longer, believe me, I would, man. I know it's sudden, but I cannot miss my bar.
1.5.
Hate saying goodbye to your radio? Download Radio app on your phone and take your favourite station anywhere. Radio app. Free from the App Store and Google Play.
If you're the guy whose job it is to order timber to the site, here's a fail-safe guide to not getting yourself fired. Step 1. Use Coldstream Timber. Step 2. See Step 1. When you use Coldstream Timber, you'll never run out of timber, because whatever you're building, Coldstream Timber and Hardware can organise same-day delivery of timber, framing, doors, decking, hardware, insulation, flooring and more. You'll never run out of timber with Coldstream Timber and Hardware. Maroondah Highway Coldstream. Coldstreamtimber.com.au. Conditions apply.
Hello, I'm Peter Hitchener. 9 News invites you to join our team nightly at 6 for Melbourne's #1 news. Tony Jones with the latest sport, including the footy, plus Lavinia Nixon's weather forecast. 9 News, proud supporter of the Eastern Football League.
Decided to go with the mahogany
30
and white roses. I think that should look really elegant.
I like how you can see it all. Tobin Brothers Funerals' latest Memory Maker app gives you more choice than ever before. With the app's newest Build Your Own feature, you can now personalise your own coffin or casket. Choose the design, the colour, the handles, the drapery and flowers to match. Download Tobin Brothers Funerals' Memory Maker app from the App Store or visit Tobin Brothers
10 seconds.
Funerals, celebrating lives.
SEN Footy streaming live and exclusively on the all-new SEN app.
Yeah, here we go.
Your footy.
It's on. go.
Yes, welcome back to Zerby's Reserve in Division 1. It is Doncaster East taking on Park Orchards, and the Lions made strides in that third term. 12-10-82, leading Park Orchards 6-12-48. And Tim, just a recap of the goal kickers.
Yeah, so for Doncaster East, we've got a few multiple goal kickers. Batsanis with 2, Whitling's got 2, both in that third term, and Stephen with 2. Singles to James Appleby, Saravolo, Chris Phelan, Brock McLean, and for Park Orchards, the same as half-time. Didn't hit the scoreboard in that term, so 3 goals each to Dennis Armfield and Alex Mione.
Gee, that goalless third term, as you mentioned, Tim. What do you make of the third term, Davo? Lions, as I mentioned, hit strides. They really took control of the game.
They did, and they did it from the middle. They were just ferocious at the attack on the football. There's a lot of contests early in that quarter which were really, really tough contests. And it wasn't just one, it was 3 and 4 in a row. And I think they just wore them down. And we were saying off air that that last goal that Shalakis kicked, Locke came out of the middle and he just absolutely left his opponent dead. His opponent could not get near him, and that's what I think looks like it might happen in this last quarter. But you know, Park Orchards have been well known for just keeping in games, but they've got to kick 1 or 2 early ones to have any chance of being in it.
Well, the umpire holds the ball aloft to signal the start of the final term here at Zerby's Reserve. Chappell wins the tap down. It's been good today for Park Orchards. Ball going nowhere, Phelan at the bottom of the pack. So Chappell once again wins it down to Jager. Kick around the corner, chopped off there by Ayubi at half back. So Ayubi just drives it long down the wing up towards half forward. Players fly from all directions. Smead emerges with the footy, changing to the short sleeves as well. Recovers and finds the Jager at half back. And now the Sharks surge forward once again. Bouncing ball, Armfield. Bit of discomfort there as he holds his leg as the Lions move it up towards the wing. And kick goes out of bounds on the full.
Yeah, he's in a bit of trouble there. It looks like a
little corky.
Yeah, it could be something top of the hip.
So brought back into play by Doncaster East. Simon White in the back pocket. Drop punt down the line. Chopped off though by Nicholson.
Probably the only thing he's done wrong all day, Simon White.
So Nicholson looks inboard. Finds a target short in Prozenak.
25 metres, run through the mark there.
So here's an opportunity for Park Orchards to break the drought. And this is one they won't want to let slip. So Prozenak.
He's tried hard for him today, Prozenak, I think.
On a day like this, you can often tell by the colour of the shorts, can't you? His shorts are great. So Michael Prozenak comes in. Kick looks good off the boot. He's kicked the goal. And Park Orchards go to 7-12-54, trailing Doncaster East 12-10-82. 2 minutes gone, final term on the Eastland scoreboard.
And they certainly needed that one. They need another 1 or 2 just to give them a bit of a spark. And if they get them early, then of course they put pressure on the Donny East players. The one I've noticed, I think Bahaja may have hurt himself just before half-time. I don't remember seeing him at all in that third quarter, and he was one of those players that was really good around the contest early in the game.
They've got a few sore bodies by the look of it, Park Orchards, as we just saw Armfield before, as we spoke about. Connor Hickey at the same time, when Armfield was down, he was looking very sore. To make matters worse, they still trail by just under 5 goals.
It's been a very, very physical game.
So the restart here in the middle. The Jager with a quick left foot ball doesn't go very far. Doncaster East with the numbers, feeling out wide to no one in particular. The foot race is on. Batsanis is going to lead all comers there, but the boundary line will beat all.
Yeah, but it was a balanced in a feel, and when he got the ball, even though he didn't kick it to anyone, it was just a balance and the pressure, peace of mind just to kick it to space and gain yards.
Yeah, the composure from Doncaster East has been very good inside today. Phelan, McLean, Batsanis, they've been outstanding. This man as well, Appleby's been very prominent. Where I think Park Orchards in the middle, they've been rushing their kicks a bit under a bit more pressure. So in the ruck contest, Smith looking for Appleby out the back, but it's going to be Park Orchards that win the ball. Chopped off by McLean, however. Handball over to Phelan. That composure we spoke about, over the top to Smith. He's going to get wrapped up straight away. He's able to free the hands, gets the handball off. But now Park Orchards have an opportunity to go forward. Up the line, Doncaster East with the numbers, however. Good tackle there by Mione.
Again, he did that well, Mione. He let his player under the ball and nearly got out the back, but...
So, plenty of numbers race up to this stoppage. It's going to be hard to get a clean ball, but Doncaster East are able to clear it. Looks like it's going to fall out the back. Campbell Crome looking to lay the shepherd to allow Wright to get the hands inside, but a good tap on there by Shalakis to intercept on his left foot, goes towards goal, and that's a terrific goal. Gee, definitely a chance for the Tobin brothers' goal of the day there, I believe, by Shalakis. Getting a hand in, composure from about 45 and kicking it straight through the middle.
Not only was it a great goal, but Micah Stevens going to have to take a bit of credit for that. He was 10 metres away from the contest, but he ran as hard as he could, a player, which allowed Shalakis then to get that little touch over the top. So just the inferred pressure from Stevens was outstanding then.
Yeah, Campbell Crome did his best with the shepherd off the ball to allow Wright some time and space, but not enough in the end.
Well, plenty of players putting their hand up today for the Tobin brothers' goal of the day. A $50 Coles Myer gift card up for grabs as the Rucks go at it. Hyde brought to ground, and Prozenak sliding, just couldn't take the mark. McLean on hands and knees, feeds it out to Ayubi. Dispossessed, and umpire calls holding the ball. And this man we talk about, Mione, has had a good game today. Pops it inside forward 50, looking for a target in Hickey, unable to take the mark. Ceravolo hot on Nicholson now, slammed on the boot there by Turner, up towards the top of the square. Armfield couldn't take the mark and just shoveled out towards the pocket. Boundary line finds the footy though, and see a throw in.
Had the numbers in the goal square there, Park Orchards.
Yeah, and two Carlton players reacquainting themselves there.
A little bit stiff, I thought, Armfield. I thought they were all over him then.
So the ball tossed back into play, deep in attack for Park Orchards. Chappell came from over the top. Ayubi just trying to drag the footy out. Prozenak feeds it out to Nicholson. How will this one bounce? Just away to the left. They needed a lucky bounce there, Park Orchards. They didn't get it. So they go to 7:13:55. The Sharks, Doncaster East, 13:10:88. 6 minutes gone. Final term on the Eastland scoreboard. Brock McLean to bring it back into play.
They needed Nicholson to play like Shalakis. That's what his role should have been today. He hasn't been able to do it.
So Doncaster East just happy to wait up their best option as they lead this game fairly comfortably at the moment. 23 points the margin. Appleby of the James variety.
He's been excellent as well today.
Kicks down the wing looking for Smith, who's just slips the ball through his hands, and the umpire calls for it.
You could throw a blanket over the Doncaster East midfielders today because they've all been terrific, all getting their hands on the ball.
So Rucks go at it again. Nobody able to get clean, purchase the footy. Micah Stephen goes in for another go. Daniel Mead in there as well. Let's go to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yeah, Premier Division, and Vermont 12-7-79 to Blackburn 3-11-29. Bournemouth 12-9-81 to Roeville 4-6-30. North Ringwood 10-9-69 to Noble Park 5-6-36. And South Croydon 5-11-41 to Norwood 5-9-39.
Gee, that North Ringwood score very surprising.
Yes.
As Doncaster East go inside forward 50, but the Sharks look to clear. Ceravolo just can't quite stick the tackle. Mead diving in, and the umpire blows his whistle. We'll have a ball up.
So Mead then, they'll show the vision of that. Mead was out of the contest by 3 or 4 metres and busted to get in there and make sure that he got that to create a stoppage. It was sensational work.
Free kick to, I thought that was going the other way.
So it'll be Chappell with the free kick for a hold. Not much on offer up the ground, so he's just going to have to go long. Not the best kick off the boot. It's going to go out wide. Off hands now, Nicholson gets a high ball up towards the half-forward line. No one can take the mark. Wide at ground level. Picks it up. Shrugs a couple of tackles. Does well. Looks like it's going to be a boundary throw in there. Mione couldn't quite find his target by hand. So it's a 33-point lead here to Doncaster East. Been all over Park Orchards in this second half after a very, very tight first half. So Stephen, just with the body strength there to Batsanis, who breaks away. Goes up to half forward. Gordon, who's been quiet, can't take the mark. Running through there is Appleby. Can he pick it up? He can. Did well to put his head over the footy. The umpire very, very quick there on that ball up call. Didn't see the play going anywhere. So Stephen, uncontested, allowed him to get the knockout to Locke. James Locke on his left up to half forward. No mark taken at ground level. Wright can't pick it up. Bit of a slippery ball. And it's going to be holding the ball against Wright. Dived on it.
Gee, that wasn't much prior opportunity.
Nah, the umpire just saw him go to ground, I think, and paid it holding the ball as soon as he didn't get it out. So Jacob Clark with a chance to attack. Bit of a shank off the side of the boot. Might work out all right. No one can pick it up. Oh, very good pick up there. Doncaster East able with an opportunity. Appleby with a quick snap around the corner. Smith can't take the mark, but it looks like he's kicked it off the ground in the goal square. He has. He's got a left boot to it. And the umpire says all clear. Another goal to Doncaster East. Their lead extends 14-10-94 to Park Orchards 7-13-55.
Was that Shalakis again, or was that Batsanis that kicked that goal?
It looked like it might have been off the ground. I think it was a soccer off the ground by Smith in the goal square. Might have to have a look at the.
It was by Smith, and it was an advantage goal because he was given the free kick, and that's where they've got the advantage of playing him down there. And look, they've been out-muscled,
yes.
Really, has been the best way of putting it.
Yep, they have been.
So back in the middle now. Have Park Orchards got anything left? McLean feeds the handball out. Appleby, high up and under kick up towards half forward. Good luck marking that one, but coming down with the ball is Gold. Gee, what a mark that was. Courageously putting himself underneath the footy. Kicks to the top of the square. Shalakis couldn't quite take the mark. George is all over him, and the umpire calls for the ball.
He's got their X factor, hasn't he? Gold.
We'll cross to Barry Cotts in the score centre in just a moment. Smith palming it down to Phelan. Can he get a boot to it? No, he can't. Park Orchards on a true last line of defence. Doncaster East players appealing for the deliberate out of bounds. But the umpire says throw it in. Let's cross to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yes, South Croydon 5-11-41, Norwood 5-9-39 in Premier Division, and Montrose and Doncaster 7-13-55, lead Montrose 6-4-40.
So the ball tossed back into play. Chappell at the front. Sharks clear off half back, and Locke was thrust over the line there by Prosnack. We'll see another throw in.
Sorry, go on there.
14-10-94 Doncaster East, 7-13-55 Park Orchards, 11.5 gone on the Eastland scoreboard. I know what you're going to say, Tim. He's been very good today.
Yes, he has. We were reading each other's mind there. But I'm there from Dan. The mind reader himself next to me here is Park Orchards, able to clear through Jackatine, the ex-Vermont player. Been very quiet today, though, it must be said. Oh, well done there by Sitherather. But his kick only as far as Wright, who's looking a very, very tired man there on half-back, and he was pretty happy to see the ball across the line. A lot of tired Park Orchards players out there. It's been a very taxing contest. 39 points the margin in favour of the Lions. Stephen does well to work his way to the front and able to get a boot on the ball along the ground. Park Orchards with a bit of time and space now off half back. They go forward, but White in the perfect position there off half back. Can't quite keep his hands on the footy, so it's going to be an inside 50 here from Park Orchards. Armfield with a long kick inside 50. Doncaster East with the numbers, but it might fall the way of Park Orchards here. It's wrapped up in a tackle. Quick right foot snap. It's looking okay, but it's just across the face. And it'll be a minor score. 7-14-56, trailing Doncaster East. 14-10-94 here on the Eastland scoreboard. 13 minutes into the last term.
I think Mione thought that was a goal because he went and celebrated with the kicker.
He's done the Tony Liberatore early celebration.
Yeah.
Let's cross to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
You have Division 1, it's East Ringwood 12-7-79 to Knox 7-6-48. And also Warren and Bayswater. It's Bayswater just in front, 6:10, 46 to 46, 9:45.
Well, Traculia drives it down the line, and Simon White presenting in front takes a strong mark at half back.
He's giving him Debney a bit of lip there, isn't he?
So White driving ball up towards half forward. It's Gordon wrestling with his opponent, Batsanis. Boundary line beats him. We'll see a throw in.
Every time they move forward now, Doncaster, they look like they're going to score, don't they?
Yeah. And they've just got more run in their legs now, and
that bigger body strength.
Just a reminder to anyone listening, if you're out at the Lilydale Wanturna South game, we would appreciate a score through on Twitter at Footy EFL. Top of the table clash in Division 1. As we go for another throw in here. Just outside 50 for Doncaster East. Ball tossed back into play. Hacked off the ground. Daniel Mead takes it. Clever handball out to Traculia. Traculia across the ground looking for Sitharatha. Stephen is trying to pick the footy up, but hacked off the ground in the end and out of bounds. Stephen appealing for deliberate. Umpire calls for the ball.
And a couple of ambitious appeals from deliberate in the last 5 minutes from the lines.
If you watch AFL footy, though, you can see where the confusion comes from with the differentiating of the rules at local level and AFL footy. There's a few that today would have been called deliberate out of bounds, I reckon, at AFL level.
Yeah, completely indifferent interpretation.
As the ball gets tossed back into play, McLean slams it on the boot up towards half forward. Gold once again. Great mark.
He really protects the drop zone very, very well when he marks Gold. About 4 years ago, he's playing amateur football, and he won the comp goal kicking, I think, in the amateurs. He was playing with some mates at Hawthorn Amateurs, I think.
Well, what a pickup he's been for Doncaster East. And he can put the icing on the cake here. Still plenty of time to go, though. From outside the paint, the kick is away to the right, through for a minor score. 14-11, 95 Doncaster East. Park Orchard 7-14, 56.
That's his fourth behind today, Sammy Gold.
Hasn't had his kicking boots on. Let's cross to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yes, and I've got a final score in Division 2. Heathmont 15-12, 102 have defeated Scoresby 5-5, 35.
Whoa.
There's a shellacking.
So the Sharks going backwards. Wynett has played down back the whole day. As he waits for his best option now. Goes out wide to half back. Meone couldn't take the mark. Bursting through there was Whitling. Smith had his handball chopped off. Phelan, little soccer off the ground, ended up okay. Meone once again. And now the Sharks out of trouble. Oh, only momentarily though. Chopped off there by the Doncaster East defender, and they go across the ground. Dennis Armfield chops that off though. High risk kick. And can the Sharks make the Lions pay here? Armfield wheels and goes. A vacant goal square, long kick, and it's away to the right. Through for a minor score, 7-15, 57 Park Orchards. Doncaster East 14-11, 95. Nearly 17 minutes gone on the Eastland scoreboard, Brash.
A few little silly turnovers there by Culture today. He's done that a few times.
So McLean with the kicking in duties goes long. Big leap over the top there from Simon White to knock it over for a boundary throw in. Another player who's been excellent today for Doncaster East.
I think they're just all waiting for the siren at the moment, to be quite honest.
Yep. There'll be some sore bodies there today. But assume a light early week on the track for both sides. Here is Doncaster East, another chance to attack. Gold works under the footy. Thought he might have got a free kick, but Wright ends up with the ball to Smead. Working their way back Park Orchards to give themselves some time. Out to this social side of the ground here. Sam Heron kicks looking for Debney, takes the mark, he turns and goes straight away, going long, but the kick is offline.
And Nicholson has every right to complain because he was standing by himself 15 metres out directly in front.
Yep, the eyes lit up there from Debney. So, time ticks away here in this last term. 18 minutes gone now. White takes the short option. And it'll be Luke McLeod who goes long up the line. Smith gets a hand on it and it trickles out. for a boundary throw-in right in front of the Park Orchards bench.
I almost think that, even with Jake Summers to come back into it's a scary proposition for most clubs for the season now.
Yeah, you're definitely spot on there, Brash. They've been impressive today for the most part, Doncaster East. Chance for Park Orchards, however, it's been turned over once again. Now an opportunity for Lowther, who comes out wide. This is Sitherather, up to half forward, but it's a poor kick. Oh, drop mark though, allows Shalakis with an opportunity, but he's tackled straight away. I think it's the mental fatigue kicking in as well here late in this last quarter. A few interesting decisions.
What's interesting, after half time, Doncaster East have kicked 8-4 to Park Orchards 1-8.
It's not good kicking there from Park Orchards at all. Here as Locke gets a handball out for Gordon. Can't break clear of the tackle there. Looked like it was Turner that laid it on him. Now they're able to sneak it forward here. Lock off the ground. Shalakis gets the ball across to Phelan, who pops through another one for Doncaster East. That's his second for the day. And they've extended their lead beyond 50 points now, I believe, or beyond 40 points, I should say. It's 15-11, 101, 7-16, 58 here on the Eastland scoreboard. We've gone almost 20 minutes as we head to Barry Cotts for some more score updates.
Yes, in Premier Division we've got a final score, Baldwin and Roval. It was Baldwin 13-13, 91 to Roval 4-10, 34. And as well as that, we've got a couple other final scores. Rural Bark and Upper Ferntree Gully was a win up to Upper Gully 8-8, 56 to Rural Bark 5-6, 36. And Heathmont 15-12, 102. Defeated scores be 5-5, 35.
Thanks, Barry. As the Lions just building on percentage now. They're ferocious around the footy. Great tackle there by Clark. Brings down Heron.
I think it's going to be I tell you what, whoever can beat Doncaster East are going to earn their spot in Premier Grade, because at the moment they look all the rage to me.
And there's a whistle here. Advantage called by the umpire. I'm not sure what the free kick was for, but Whitnish gets the Sharks moving inside forward 50. Sloppy looking kick though. Cut off by Papa Constantinou, and McLeod over the top to White. Just so cool and calm under pressure. Has a lot of time. Wobbling kick out wide. Only as far though as Heron.
That's been their problem, Park Orchards, after half time. Their kicking inside 50 has been really poor.
So Heron pops it up. Big fly from the back by Prosenac. Unfortunately didn't come down with the footy though, as the Lions clear at half back. Bouncing ball in front of Gold. Happy to see it over the line. We'll try to keep it in.
And a lack of a key forward to direct that inside 52.
Well, you're almost robbing Peter to pay Paul if you're moving Wynett up forward. It's
too late now. It's too late.
Can he kick 6 in the last 5 minutes?
Yeah.
He needs 6 in the last 6 minutes.
What about the Lee Matthews theory? More goals than minutes remaining. So feeling it half back. Pops it on the boot. Clark once again has a lot of time. Has to beat 2. But now Park Orchards win out. Hyde puts it inside forward 50.
Good
Strong mark taken by Nicholson.
He hasn't been able to do that all day.
No. Just hasn't been able to get near it today. Both the key forwards, Gordon and Nicholson, really haven't got near it today.
So Nicholson will kick from outside the arc. Pops it up. Will it make the distance? It does, and it's there. So Park Orchards have their 8th. 8-16-64 the Sharks, trailing Doncaster East 15-11, 101. 22 minutes gone, final term on the Eastland scoreboard. Let's go to Barry Cotts.
Yeah, we've got a final Division 4, Surrey Park and East Burwood. It was a win to East Burwood 13-13, 91 to Surrey Park 5-4, 34. And also the game to Premier Division Vermont and Blackburn. It's Vermont 13-8, 86, leading Blackburn 5-15, 45. 12 minutes last quarter.
Thanks, Barry. I've just got a score update from Mark McNay on the Twitter feed. Lilydale 10-11, 71, leading Wanturna South 7-3, 45. Assume it's the last quarter there as well. So big win coming up for the Dales, it seems.
So the restart here in the middle, a strong tackle there on Ben Hyde, who'll be sore getting up from that, double teamed.
They nearly had to dig him up.
It's not really what you want when you're 6 goals down with about 5 minutes to go in the last quarter on a cold, wet day.
I'll tell you what, that's where Steve Buckel will be pretty happy.
Oh, yeah.
He'll be happy to see right there in front, and they are really they're grinding them in.
The ruckman once again, been a tough day for them as well. As the ball isn't going anywhere out of there. So the umpire will take it back for another stoppage. Stephen gets the tap out the back, but it's Park Orchards who are able to clear up forward. But well positioned there is Jared Lowther, who comes out looking for Lock, can't quite get there. Good tackle though to recover, but he's able to be slipped out of. And now a chance for Brosnack for Park Orchards, who goes up forward. It's too heavy on the kick though. Simon White's going to lead all comers. Armfield closing, but not fast enough, and they're able to clear to the outer side. Rami Ayubi, plenty of time and space. Takes the option over the top there with feeling it is, up to half forward. Gets over the back. Good mark there by Shalakis on his left, favoured left side, and a good kick and a good lead taken out in front. Is Tom Gordon, leads his man to the ball with a chance to get another late goal here for Doncaster East.
Tell you what, we've seen some sort of a half from Shalakis, haven't we?
Oh yeah.
He's been very, very impressive.
Oh, that's the best kick of the day, that one.
And I'm sure BWS is sitting on his little rubber dinghy in the pool up at Mirage. He'd be enjoying every single moment of this.
He sure would.
With a nice cold frothy. Gee, I'm jealous.
So Tom Gordon, not his best effort off the boot. It's well away to the right, and just a minor score. 15-12, 102 leading Park Orchards, 18-17-65.
Well, when you consider he's had a dirty day and that Wynet's probably beaten him, they've done pretty well to score 16 goals or 15 goals without the key forward.
So just taking our time to fetch the ball from down the hill here at Doncaster East.
Well, it's either in a forest or down a hill, isn't it?
As Evan Smead looks to bring the ball back into play. So Smead's kick out towards half back, presenting well with Nicholson in front. Just couldn't bring the footy down with him. Papa Constantinou just tripped over at the last minute, finds himself at the bottom of the pack. And it's a high tackle there on Meone, it seems, by Phelan, but the umpire calls for it.
He did his best to try and draw that high tackle there by lifting that left arm.
Let's go to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yeah, we've got a final score in Division 2, and it was Mitcham 13-18-96 have defeated Mulgrave 4-9-33.
So the Tigers going along very nicely in season 2019. As the ball's tossed back into play. Micah Stephen and Chappell contest the ruck. Ball in dispute, and now they look to win out Park Orchards. Kick, ball slammed on the boot up towards centre half forward. Great mark taken there by Papa Constantinou. Oh, rather he lost it. So in a bit of trouble here as he looks to get the ball back. He's won himself the free kick rather, and he finds Locke across the ground at half back. So happy to milk up seconds here, Doncaster East. Game well and truly in the bag. Clark moves it out wide, finds Whitling, who's had a good game, 2 goals to his name, plays on quickly, looking for Smith, whose opportunity there was spoiled, and the umpire calls for the ball. Ball up. 15-12, 102 Doncaster East, 8-16-64 Park Orchards, 27 minutes gone. Final term on the Eastland scoreboard. Chappell wins it down. 2 Doncaster East men go in and wrap it up once again. Micah Stephen, the tackler on that occasion. So Rucks go at it again. Chappell was hacked out of the contest there, and Appleby kick was smothered. Dives in again. So desperate for the pill, but his namesake in Appleby has a flying shot in goal, and it bounces across the face. That was Tom Appleby. And a boundary throw and will ensue. That was a desperation there from James Appleby. How much in front late in the last quarter, and you're not giving an inch.
As I say, that's what the coach wants to see.
Yep.
So the ball tossed in. Smith palms it down to this man once again, James Appleby. It's brought down, socket off the ground. Can they get one final one here? Doncaster East. It's away to the left. Not sure who that was, but through for a minor score regardless.
Jack Shalakis.
Shalakis.
Shalakis brings Doncaster East total to 15-13, 103. They lead Park Orchards 8-16, 64, 28 and a half nearly gone on the scoreboard. Eastland scoreboard. Meone at half back.
They've brought him up the ground now to probably give him a bit of experience up there.
Well, his kick's a poor one. Finds it in dispute, and Ayubi comes charging through. Phelan, clever look away handball over the top, back to Ayubi, who's shoved over the line. Helped up by his mate there in Daniel Mead. We'll see a throw in right in front of our broadcast position.
Well, the rain certainly held off a little bit in the second half.
As the ball's tossed back into play, Ayubi feeds the handball out to Locke. Goes backwards, Trakulia, kick down the line. Beautiful mark taken there by Phelan. It's been great to see him in action because he has come across with big raps from the waffle as he sends a kick inside forward 50, and that's centimetre perfect.
That's why he's got the big raps.
And Shalakis on the end of that. Wouldn't you love to be a forward leading up to a kick by Phelan?
And even like Shalakis' last kick where he who did he hit?
Gordon.
Yes, Gordon. Just magnificent, the kicking in the forward line.
So Jack Shalakis coming in, if I'm not mistaken. This is for his 4th goal from outside the arc. Interesting looking kick off the boot. It's away to the left, through for a minor score. And full time here at Zerby's Reserve. And it's Doncaster East 15-14, 104. Defeating Park Orchards by 40 points, 8-16, 64. Big percentage boosting win today for the Lions.
Yes, they were just far too good after half time. We talked about them coming out with their physical pressure, and gee, they were enormous with their physical pressure after half time around the contest, and then up forward they just had Shalakis, who was just lightning with his hands and his feet, very good overhead. It was a complete game, whereas Park Orchards, we thought they might be troubled with their bodies, and look, they just ran out of gas, and they just couldn't win the contest at the end. They still tried though. That's the one thing, they didn't give it up. They continued to work hard at the contest, but the bigger bodies were just too much for them.
Yeah, you're right. And look, unfortunately for Park Orchards, they're going to come up against a few sides that are a bit more maturely developed as the year comes by, and that might be this mightn't be the first time and first or last time that this could happen to them again. They're probably, with this group, as skillful as it is, Davo, they're probably another 12 to 18 months off physical maturity.
They are, but I think we talked about it. The one thing is that they really miss a target.
Yeah, they've got to try and find a key target. Like you said, they missed losing Folks and Gorings has really hurt their structure, and they've got to probably try and find another couple of forwards now to take them to the next step.
Yeah, look, I like Meone. I think he's got real promise. Certainly plays some nice football, but you got guys like Debney is just not up to it anymore, being able to play that centre half forward, second ruckman role. So that really hurts them. And they don't have anyone else that's really up there to, they had Wynett, but they had to use him back in defence today. But really, he's one option to play forward. But when you come up against a side that's got Gordon in the forward line who's tall, it means you've got to play one of your bigger players down the back, and they're just lacking those extra couple of tools.
So just recapping the goal kickers once again here. Doncaster East, 15 of them today. So there was 3 to Shalakis, then 2 goals to each Batsanis, Whitling, Phelan, Stephen, and singles to James Appleby, Saravolo, McLean and Smith. For Park Orchards, 3 goals each to Meone and Armfield, both of them kicking all their 3 goals in that first half, and then singles to Michael Prosnak and Matthew Nicholson in that last quarter.
Thanks for that, Tim. And if you're out at a game, make sure you tweet us at FootyEFL with any final scores you've got. And it turns out that Lilydale have in fact defeated Wanturna South 10-11-71 to Wanturna South 7-3-45. So Lilydale still undefeated. What a huge result that is.
That is a huge result up there. And we talked about the fact that they play their ground incredibly well and they defend it very well So, it's hard to go and win up there. So, again, when they play, did they play round 1 against Donny East? They might have.
No, they
did.
They did?
They just got the win.
That's right, basically nearly after the siren again. Well, the next time they play, that'll be worth going and having a look at, because two very, very good football sides at the moment. But Donny East today, can't take anything away from them. They were just experienced, bigger bodies, used the ball better in the second half, and took their opportunities when they had their opportunities.
Yeah, look, and once again, I just think that when you're looking at this division, it almost seems like that the experienced bodies, the ones that have got younger sides coming up, and Park Orchards being one of them, their bodies may not be just ready just yet. And when you come up against a side like Doncaster East and probably maybe an East Ringwood and a Lilydale, those experienced guys, they wear you out.
Yep, and even look at Bayswater, who are a lot of big boys, bigger bodies in their side.
With Galvins and all that, yeah.
Yep. So really what it is the fact that they need to get, they've either got some, I'm not sure who they've got that's out injured, but if they've got some of their bigger bodies, they need to get them in, because they've now, as we said, they may have gone close to plateauing in this sort of area, being competitive. It's not that they're non-competitive; they are very competitive. They just don't have the size of the player or the experience that they need.
Well, let's go to Barry Cotts with some final scores coming through.
Yes, we have indeed, and Bourne won very easily in the end. Bourne in Premier Division, 13-13-91 to Roeville, 4-10-34. Montrose and Doncaster win to Doncaster, 9-16-70 to Montrose, 8-8-56. In Division 1, Lilydale, as you said, 10-11-71 have defeated One Turners South, 7-3-45. Turning to the page, in Division 2, we've got a couple of scores. Yes, we have. Upper Furniture Gully 8-56 to Mirrabbark 5-6-36. Mitcham 13-18-96 to Mulgrave 4-9-33. Heathmont 15-12, 102 to Scoresby 5-5-35. And in Division 4, scores just come through. A big win to Fair Park today, 17-19, 121 to Forest Hill, 9-14-68. And East Burwood 13-13-91 have defeated Surrey Park 5-4-34.
Thanks, Barry. And some huge results there, aren't there?
There's some real, obviously we're in a little bit of shock with the ease at which Baldwin's been able to beat Roeville at Roeville. And when you think about it, Baldwin have now beaten South Croydon at South Croydon and Roeville at Roeville, two of the hardest away games you can have. So certainly been a good comeback from the Baldwin footy side.
And there was an upset brewing down at the down at the Bull Ring too, last we heard.
Yeah, I believe so. So there's really, I think most of the games, there was only one game I can't remember who I haven't heard from that I was looking forward to. Donvale Ferntree Gully.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything from them.
So that was one game, and also the Baronia Ringwood. I know Ringwood were in front, but I think that was very early on in the game.
Well, if you're out at those games, make sure you tweet us at FootyEFL. What we're going to do now is we're going to launch into our votes, and Tim Fitzsimons has actually entrusted me with his votes, so he's written them down for me, 3, 2 and 1. So I'll kick things off with Tim's votes. 1 vote he gave to Simon White, 2 votes to James Locke, and 3 votes to Jack Shalakis. So some solid votes there, very hard to argue with. Brash?
Right, I'll make it simple. I'll go 3 White, 2 Shalakis, 1 Phelan.
Davo?
I'm going 1 Phelan, and I've swapped these two around because of his last quarter performance. I'm going 2 to White and 3 to Shalakis.
Well, gee, I might have the deciding vote here. I've gone 1 vote I gave to Chris Phelan. I thought he was sensational. 2 votes I gave to Simon White and 3 votes to Shalakis. So As I tally this up, I think Tim Fitzsimons has tried to go and find us an interview. What about the Tobin Brothers goal of the day? Davo, I might entrust this one with you, mate. You are the best judge in the Eastern Football League media team. How did you see it?
Well, I'm trying to remember the good goals, but I think there was one particularly good long goal. I can't remember. I'm actually at a bit of a loss for the goal.
Wasn't there one by? There was a good goal. I thought
Jack Shalakis in the fourth quarter had a good one. He looks like winning the Eastland Player of the Day, if we're comfortable giving both awards to him. But Saravolo kicked a ripper as well early on in the game.
Saravolo was the one that was probably the goal of the day. The one from this end,
yes, on the boundary line.
The snap on the boundary line in the first quarter was excellent. Yes,
give that to him.
So Saravolo takes home a $50 Coles Myer gift card, all thanks to Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives for his efforts at the goal of the day today. And drum roll, please, because we've got a winner for our Eastland Player of the Day, and it is Jack Shalakis out front with 11 votes. So he takes home a $100 Eastland gift card. Make sure you get out to Eastland, the premier shopping destination in the eastern suburbs. That leaves one award, and it's the Trojan Workhorse Award. Davo, how did you see it?
I think it comes down to, look, unfortunately, Park Orchards, I can't give them any votes. I thought Weiner was really good down back, worked his heart out. It comes down to two players for me. I thought Appleby at the contest was outstanding. James Appleby was outstanding at the contest all day. And a bloke who, again, didn't get a lot of it, but Micah Stephen, some of the stuff he does around the ground, you need to watch him carefully. The amount of work that he does off the ball to make things better for his other players. He's gone down forward. He's kicked a couple of goals. I thought Micah Stephen was pretty close to the Trojan Workhorse of the day for me.
Yeah.
I agree, Brash. I agree with your concise explanation there.
No, but I mean, James Appleby was also very, very good as well. In fact, both Appleby.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. But just on Micah Stephen, you mentioned, Davo, he just battled willfully all day, didn't he? He'd go into the ruck, create goal opportunities up forward, around the ground too. When you look at him, he doesn't look like the most mobile guy, but gee, he covers some ground.
What summed it up was that bone-crushing tackle he gave at the 30-minute mark of the last quarter in the ruck.
Yep.
When him and Locke just went straight at that Park Orchards player, as if it was like the last minute of a grand final with a minute to play and they were a goal behind.
Yeah, look, as I say, he's not the most fashionable player going around, but I tell you what, if I'm Steve Buckel, he's nearly the first magnet that I put on the board.
Yeah.
He gives you something else, but really, when you look at their players, the ones that you can, I thought Brock McLean was really good too. He did a lot of really classy things. So they had players all over the ground. Batsanis, his third quarter was absolutely sensational with his gut running and his ability to hit the contest and work hard. And so they had a lot of good players. When you go Park Orchards first half, they had a lot of guys that were really involved. They just dropped off, and all I'd say, it's not that they didn't give up, they continued to work really hard. And
they were just monstered physically.
Yeah, and guys like Prozanak continued to work hard, and guy DeJager around the ball worked hard all day. They just didn't have the cleanliness of the East Doncaster players.
I think one man for mine who is pretty outstanding, I think, for Doncaster East. He worked really hard, got himself into the right position and attacked the ball really hard forward of the ball, was Sam Gold. I thought he was terrific, especially in the air. I know, Davo, you spoke about it during the call. He just works his man under the ball and positions himself so well. And he's just attack on the ball and just footy smarts, I think, when the ball's in the air, really paid dividends for him today, and he worked hard pretty much all day.
And look, we'd probably go close to giving him votes if he kicked straight. He's kicked 4 points, I think, something like that. So he had his opportunities to stamp his imprimatur on the game. He just didn't do it.
Well, just quickly before we wrap things up, let's go to Barry Cotts in the Score Centre with some final scores.
Yeah, just Division 1 Premier League. Vermont in the end won 13-10, 88 defeated Blackburn 6-17, 53.
Gee, a huge result there. Brash, you'd be absolutely beaming at that one.
Yeah, I am actually, because that's a good win, because Blackburn had 10 days off and
more or less a full strength side in as well.
Yeah. So look, interesting, 23 shots each.
Yeah.
13-10 to 6-17. So they've used the ball well, Vermont, and that's one thing that we know that they do extremely well.
Well, just quickly, I just want to touch on Park Orchards as we see them warming down on the ground out here. They've come off 2 close losses now, ones that would have knocked the absolute wind out of them. But next week they come up against, who have they got next week? They got Knox next week at Park Orchards. So it's a make or break game for their season, really.
Yep. I think we'll find out a little bit more about them next week, there.
I think Knox have been beaten today, so it becomes a make or break for Knox as well. I think are crucial for both.
Well, thank you very much for joining us here on EFL Game Day, right here on 1377 SEN Plus and simulcast live on 98.1 Radio Eastern. So good afternoon to all those listeners out there as well. I've been your Game Day host, Daniel Sensick. Tim Fitzsimons, my co-commentator. Pleasure to have you.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Enjoyed it very much. We saw a good contest for most of it, but Doncaster East too good in the end.
Brett Davidson and Wayne Brasher on special comments.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, everyone. Great day.
Barry Cotts in the score centre. Great job by you as always.
Thank you very much, and it's good that the rain cleared up towards the end of the game.
Stay tuned now for the post-game show with Damien Watson.
Thank you. Clear.
Thanks very much.
Okay, thanks.
Waitley, Monday from 9 on SEN.